Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Joe Hunk. As SEC Media Days is getting going in Dallas today, Commissioner Sankey started it all off earlier today by saying that they are not focused on expansion, they being the SEC, and that his sole focus now is focused purely on the 16 teams that are now in conference. Major League Baseball's draft is continuing as you had 4 Vols taking it yesterday. You also had 2 Vanderbilt players taken. And as the third round started today at 1 o'clock, Drew Beam and A.J. Causey have both been drafted by the Kansas City Royals. Kavarius Tiers has been drafted by San Diego. And with Vanderbilt, Grayson Carter is now a New York Yankee. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Happy Monday to you. Brent Doty with you live from Dallas, Texas at the Omni Hotel. SEC Media Days underway. I got my friends with me. Don Davenport's here.
What up?
What up, Babsy?
Happy Monday. I'll tell you what is not bunk.
What is not bunk, Babsy?
This SEC Media Days so far.
That's right.
I mean, selfishly for us, it's maybe the best setup they've ever had. In terms of
why?
Room. And,
space.
Yeah, there's lots of space, and the Omni does it right in terms of food. We've had brisket. We've had grilled chicken.
Yep. Really good grilled chicken.
Yeah. Kirby and I had a little Texas chili.
Brisket? I liked the brisket.
Yeah.
I didn't try the brisket.
You didn't? You're not a brisket guy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Chicken called my name.
Ron Slay is here.
I'm in the building. Better be ready. I ain't got no roof.
We've got Zeph here doing his thing.
Poor Zeph's having to work.
I mean.
Putting him to work.
We've got Kirby here doing his thing.
Kirby's not working. I'm just messing with you, Kirb.
No,
I will say this.
Kirby ain't did nothing, man.
Kirby did discover one very important access point to where we are, a porch, where he can see the table.
Yes, while he's smoking.
During smoke breaks.
There's a little couch out there and everything. I'm going to bring a cigar tomorrow.
Okay, hold on.
You got to do that.
Hold on.
Is it too hot to smoke a cigar
Yes.
outside?
Yeah, it's probably,
1,000%.
yeah, ain't no question. Yeah, you'll fall out.
Listen, for as steamy and all the words that I hate saying about Nashville weather, Texas puts it to shame.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Well, we were outside a total of, 45 seconds?
I don't care.
Shouldn't have been out there then.
That's what I'm saying. You were out there 45 seconds, and it was miserable.
Huge floor-to-ceiling windows, and we're looking out at the Dallas skyline, and we've got the Texas state flag right behind Kirby.
Of course.
So that's what it looks like here. Can I give a shout-out?
Most definitely. Presented by your mom and them.
Shout-out to Mike Henry, Gator Mike, for hooking us up with the Lorenzo Hotel, which is a Hilton property. And it is contemporary. It's eclectic is a good word, Kirby.
It's very cool.
Like I was so tired. We got to the hotel last night. What, I don't know, midnight or something. I don't know. And then my key didn't work, so I had to go back downstairs and get a new key. I'm so exhausted. I get inside. I fall asleep. I don't even remember falling asleep. I wake up at like 5 in the morning, and I'm looking at the ceiling, and there's like number one, the ceiling is like not finished. It's like this not finished concrete type thing, modern, you know. But there's like a picture frame with a paintbrush in the middle of it. And I was laying there thinking, am I awake? Also, what is that? Like,
it creeped me out all night.
It did.
Like, I told Slade this morning, right when I saw him, I could not sleep because of the weird paintbrush right above my head. It totally creeped me out. And there's like 50 mirrors in my room, which I always complain. I need a long, like a full-length mirror to be able to see.
Oh, we have it.
Yep.
And all that. Oh, yeah.
We have it.
I'm like, okay, I don't need to see that much.
Because that's what. But that's why I was like, I like those gigantic mirrors too.
Yeah.
And I was like, do y'all have the gigantic, like 250-pound mirror that I really want to take home somehow? And you were like, yes.
See, that's why I just went on Pop the Gummy and I went on down. Shout out to the gummies out there.
Shout out to the gummies.
Yeah.
And Gator Mike. Gator Mike and
Gator
gummies.
Mike.
I'm not responding to that.
Teams today at SEC Media Day. So the way that this event works, if you're new to this, is all 16 teams from the Southeastern Conference will be through here over the course of 4 days. And this kind of signifies the beginning of college football season. Everyone down here will echo that sentiment. Today, the 4 teams that are involved: LSU, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt. Garrett Nussmeier will be on the show in the next segment. He is the LSU quarterback taking over for Jaden Daniels. At 3:45, we're going to visit with Ole Miss wide receiver Trey Harris, executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl, or Reese's Senior Bowl.
Yeah. Reese's.
As
Reese's.
some like to call it. Jim Nagy will join us at 4 o'clock. We were talking with him a little bit earlier, and he said that 43% of the draft came from the Senior Bowl rosters.
And the Titans ended up with
6 of them.
6, yeah.
So we'll talk with him at 4 o'clock. 4:20, South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer will join the show. 4:45, Vanderbilt linebacker, he is from Nashville, Langston Patterson will join us. 5 o'clock, Cole Kubelik with Jocks Radio. And 5:20, Clark Lee, Vanderbilt football coach, will hop into the mix, and South Carolina linebacker Debo Williams at 5:45. So we've got a lot to do. Tomorrow, Georgia, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Missouri. We'll also have Paul Feinbaum, Laura Rutledge, Marty Smith, Joe Tessitore, all the SEC people tomorrow. Greg Sankey opened it up, guys, with we're the one conference where the name still means something. I was like, right. Godfather.
I was just going to say, I feel like Sankey right now is off the top rope. And he's usually not that. Like, he'll say his comments because he knows the SEC is the best, right?
Right.
But for some reason, I feel like this year with this event and the addition of the two and in his opening comments, I feel like there's a lot more zingers in there than normal from Sankey.
You know what I believe? I think he sat back, he listened to Big Ten talk, listen to Big 12 talk, and all right, let me go and clean this thing up for y'all. Just to put everything back in order the way it's supposed to be. I'll take care of this for you guys.
So is he on the top rope with a tag team partner, the Big Ten, who wants in the ring, but Sankey's standing on the top rope saying, I got this?
Yeah, it's one of them, Big Ten's leaning over the ropes.
Like, I want it.
Tag me. He's like, nah, let me go to work on this, and I got this. Don't worry.
See, I kind of feel like he's just on the top rope all by himself, and there's nobody even close right now. It's 16 strong is what the banners all say around here, and all 16 are like in the audience just watching.
Yeah.
I mean,
every other banner either reads now 16 strong or it just means more, which they're going to hold on to that little saying. That's just not just an annual thing. They're going to do it every year. So Greg Sankey, another thing that came up while he was addressing the media, he was asking a question about how much he's following the ACC stuff in terms of Clemson and Florida State and lawsuits and would you be looking to add those two schools and all this? And all he said was, I'm aware, but I'm not a recruiter. I'm not a recruiter.
I mean, is that not a top rope comment?
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Like, that's fine. If you want to come join us, sell me. Tell me why I should listen to you.
Tell me why.
We talked about it. We talked about it with Griff. Yeah, that's it. We bring him last week right into this week. Hey, but we talked to Griff about it. It means a lot more when you got to sell me on why we need you in this conference.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we're going to give you so much more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to be able to bring something to the table.
So much more money. You could have finished that entire
you better believe it. Yeah,
sentence.
exactly. And I'm always put this on the end, especially in football.
Yeah.
What a pro wants.
Especially in football.
Nick Saban, top rope. Nick Saban on the SEC Network said today, quote, what kind of tickles me, I love that he said that, tickles me. What kind of tickles me is all these people asking questions about how Texas always ran the conference they were in. They're not going to run the SEC, end quote. I mean, they're going to be really good.
Yeah. But this right here is different. You've been in a situation where you've been the alpha the entire time. Maybe, going back and forth with Oklahoma, and occasionally, somebody else from the Big 12 stepping up. But for the most part, it's you and Oklahoma. That's not the case in this conference.
Can I say this, though?
What?
Can I just read Texas's schedule to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Colorado State at home, at Michigan,
Yep.
UTSA, ULM, Mississippi State,
At home.
Oklahoma, whatever they call it now, Red River rivalry.
Yeah.
Georgia at home, at Vanderbilt, Florida, at Arkansas, Kentucky, at Texas A&M. I'm sorry, but that is a very favorable schedule for them to run the SEC.
Without question.
They could go undefeated.
Without question. I do think
and
it's
especially in the SEC.
It's going to be a rude awakening, though, going to these atmospheres like a South Carolina, where you haven't been before. Mississippi State, if you happen to get the opportunity. Where they play Mississippi State at?
They have them at home.
See, that's
it is an extremely favorable schedule.
It is.
Now, the other big question that Sankey was asked today was about tiebreakers. Because you have 16 teams, right? And there's going to be some kind of tie somewhere. You don't have division, so you don't decide it like that anymore. And basically, he was like, yeah, we'll let you know by the beginning of the season.
Yeah. How are we going to get this?
Fair enough. All right, we've got a busy.
That's just avoiding the conversation now. You think they have it figured out?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Sankey.
Yes.
Well, there ain't going to be no ties with this schedule for Texas.
He's playing chess. All right, when we come back, LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier taking over for Jaden Daniels. He played the bowl game and a come-from-behind win against Wisconsin. He was 31 of 45, 395 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's the guy this year. We'll talk with him next. 3HL broadcasting live from Dallas, SEC Media Days on 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening, folks? Ron Slay coming to you live and direct with Wesley Mortgage. Wesley Mortgage is the current recruiting top mortgage talent. Mortgage business that's out there. Why would you want to go somewhere else when you have a company that's going to support you the way that they do? And they learn that because it is a direct reflection of the owner, the boss, the leader, Chuck McDowell. Local Nashville native, always giving back to the community to make it such a wonderful place. Now, he also reinvests in the people, and that's what he's doing with Wesley Mortgage. All you have to do is go to whywesley.com and make sure that you understand you can be affiliated with the Tennessee Titans, the Music City Grand Prix, Nashville Predators, which makes closing deals a little bit better and fun as far as the relationships you're going to build. I already have a support system in place to help you succeed in the mortgage business, ensuring your loans close on time, making sure you get paid, giving you back the time to build your business and bring back the fun to mortgage. All you got to do is go to whywesley.com.
So many people trust Two Rivers Ford. Football players, working moms, business owners. Why? Because Two Rivers Ford has been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
teammates, Mason Taylor, and he said that your golf game is not as good as his.
No, yeah, Mason. Yeah, it's been a struggle this summer.
Although he said, and I was like, man, it's too hot to play golf in Baton Rouge. What are y'all doing? And he goes, yeah, it is hot. But he said he loses a lot of balls. So
No. We actually went and played 2 days ago, and it wasn't close. It wasn't close. It wasn't close.
He said he's not good either.
No, he's lying. He's good.
Okay.
He is good.
Yes, he's good.
Okay,
he's
see,
a good
there's
golfer.
the truth lies somewhere.
He's
in between.
lying. He's a good golfer.
Yeah.
LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, we call him Nuss. These Nuss.
So,
Sorry, bro.
Okay.
I'm with it.
I'm
It's all
taking
good.
over, Garrett. Here we go.
Yeah, there's the professional of the group.
Yeah, right. So back when I used to be a journalist. Obviously there's a lot of quotes out there from you, in this day and age. Oh, my gosh, you decided to stick around and be patient, and nobody does that anymore. And I know you had said, I felt like God put me here for a reason at LSU. When was that moment for you? Like, when was that realization, and was it super specific?
Yeah, I mean, I think, whenever I was coming out of high school and I was trying to make my decisions on where to go to school, I felt like, there was a lot of prayer involved. And, I felt like God brought me to LSU for a reason. I'm originally from the state of Louisiana. I moved around a lot. So Lake Charles is my home. And so, my mom and my grandmother who lived there are very, very spiritual. And they've kind of played the main role in helping me build my relationship with God, I would say. And so, it kind of almost related to the state of Louisiana for me. And so, when it came down to decision time last year, obviously there was temptation, because I love to play football and I wanted to play. But I felt like, God had me there for a reason, like I said, and it wasn't my job to decide when it was my turn. I feel like a lot of times in life we want things right away, but, His timing is always correct, and understanding and just putting your faith and your trust into Him. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, was just keeping my head down and going to work and, hopefully, praying and trusting in Him and His timing and letting it all play out.
So as you look back on this decision now, what did you learn from Jaden Daniels? Do you kind of feel like maybe that was a part of the why, as far as your teammates around you and the relationships and what you learned?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I got to learn a lot of different things last year. Learning from Jaden, obviously our skill sets are very different. So when it was on the field, I kind of just got to watch in awe at how unbelievable he was. But I took a lot away from him off the field, just understanding how he studied, how he interacted daily, what he did in the building, who he was talking to, how he was talking to him, how he interacted with his teammates and things like that. So, I feel like that's where I learned the most from Jaden. I'm a big fan of his, and I'm excited for him, and I'll be rooting for him next year.
You got legs like him, right?
I hope I can do close. Once in a while, it might come out.
Every once in a while.
Can't do what he can do, but I hope I can do close.
It might pop out.
LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier with us on 3
Garrett Nussmeier, man, it's time to go into the Boom Boom Room. The Boom Boom Room is a room that you go in, the door's locked behind you. It's just us two in there.
Right.
And the only way the doors are unlocked is if you tell the truth to the best of your ability, and there's only one judge of that. That would be me on this one right here, all right? All right, so do you agree to these terms?
I agree to these terms.
All right, lock the door on Garrett Nussmeier. Now, first and foremost, give me 4 people. You got a dinner, past or present, that you can have with you at the dinner that you want to soak up some knowledge from. It can be any 4 people, family. It can be
anybody.
Anybody in history, whatever it may be.
Oh, wow.
You got 4 of them you had to at dinner with.
Jesus.
Okay. I think that kind of broke the mold right there. But
Yeah.
That's the easiest one.
We know who's saying the prayer for sure.
Yep. Ain't no doubt about that.
Right.
Probably Jesus. I'd probably take George Washington just to listen to him talk.
Okay.
Man.
Got
That's
2 more.
tough.
Yeah.
I'm taking, LeBron James,
Okay.
Bronny.
All right.
Derek Jeter.
Nice.
Nice.
Those
Ooh.
4 right there.
Some
I'm
successful
just soaking up
winners and
knowledge.
groundbreaking. That okay. All right.
Were
so
you a baseball fan?
I played baseball when I was younger.
Okay.
It's more of just I think he's probably one of the greatest baseball players of all time. And,
absolutely.
oh, shoot. If I could add a 5th, I'm adding Kobe in there, too.
Yeah.
I feel like Jeter and Kobe kind of go together in that type of mindset. I feel like that's why I said Jeter.
That's a good
The
one.
motivation.
That's a good one right
Yeah.
there. Give me something, man, a hurdle that you had early on in life that you had to overcome that you look back on now and say, man, that kind of molded me for maybe one of these moments that's coming up now, or that gave you that that foundation of not leaving and running and trying to go find a situation, but waiting on your turn?
Yeah, I mean, I think, when I was a kid growing up, I moved around 12 times. And so, the only constant place in my life was Lake Charles, Louisiana, where all my mom's family is, where I was born. It's where I'm from. And so, actually the crazy part about it is, coming up on this year, this will actually be the longest I've ever lived anywhere in my entire life. On my fourth year in Baton Rouge. So, Louisiana is my home. It is what means the world to me. And so, I feel like that kind of helped shape and mold me into who I am and why I feel like I have so much sense of loyalty to LSU is because, I've had so much change in my life. And the one thing that's always been true to me is Louisiana.
Man, I tell you what, man. Coming in the boom boom room, we're going to have you as a greeter at the door. I love that energy right there. Yeah, Nuss, we're going to let you out of the boom boom room, man. Unlock the doors on them.
I appreciate it.
Great job, man.
Yes, sir.
Real quick on the way out, obviously probably
the boom boom hallway.
Yeah.
Yes. Move around a lot. Just with your dad, what did you take biggest technical advice and biggest off the field advice from your dad?
Well, I would say there's too much to say a single one. Obviously, technical wise, he trained me as a passer since I was a kid, so he helped build my mechanics and things like that. And, everything I've worked on since I was young was with him, obviously. But just in life, he's also just taught me so many lessons. I mean, he's been able to accomplish everything that I dream of accomplishing. He's been able to make it happen. And so, being able to talk to him about different things and get different feedback I would say a lot of times my dad forces me to find the answer, but he'll help me get there. I would say that my dad has never been the type of guy to, and he was never that AAU baseball dad or whatever, where we're forcing me to do things. It was always making me do it, but he would lead me that way. And so I'm forever thankful for that. He caused me to build my own love for the game, my own want to be great. And so, the relationship that we have is something special. And, I'm super grateful and super thankful for my dad.
For those that don't know, Garrett's dad, quarterback. Now quarterback coach at Eagles?
Yes, yeah. Philadelphia. Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you. LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Garrett.
Man, what an impressive guy.
That dude
bleeds
purple and yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, in a day and age where everybody jumps, he didn't jump, and he could have. Anybody would have wanted him. I don't remember the list, but I remember seeing last year top 10 arms in college football, and Jaden Daniels was one of the 10, and Garrett Nussmeier was also one of the 10.
Well,
he's a backup quarterback.
Yeah, and even before last year, he was a transfer portal target.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because of what he was coming out, too. And, I mean, obviously, you heard who his dad is. He's grown up with the mechanics of throwing a football, you know.
Doug Nussmeier played professionally. He played at Idaho State. He is the quarterback's coach in Philly, as we said.
Yeah,
So, yeah, and I thought it was cool what he said. He said, my dad always led me. He didn't push me, And we can all be guilty of some of those things from time to time, so it's a good message to hear.
I think one of the intriguing things to me about him was in the state that we're in as far as college football with the transfer portal, NIL deals, and those things of that nature. Him coming in after what Jaden Daniels did. Him coming into a situation with it's not about me. It's more so about everybody else around me is great because there's going to be enough light shined on that spot, that quarterback position, solely alone just because of the points they're expected to put up, what they're coming off of, and the protection he's going to have.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, to shine the light on everybody else. Make it about them because you're going to have your time in the light. There's going to be plenty of it. So that offensive line was a Joe Moore Award finalist for the best offensive line in college football, right? Yep.
One of 3.
Yeah.
They have 4 starters on that line back. 80% of their offensive line is back, and that includes 2 freshman All-Americans in the last 3 years.
That's tough.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, anybody would give anything for that kind of protection. So, I mean, obviously, they got some holes to fill at wide receiver, but
for sure,
that protection and what they have at that offensive line in this league is going to allow them, I think, to transition into getting the talent on the
That's
outside
key.
ready.
That's key.
A guy we talk to a lot down in Louisiana, Mike Detillier, who covers the Saints and LSU and the NFL draft and all of these things. He's a really varied guy with his skill set. But we had him on, and we were talking about Garrett Nussmeier in the offseason. He started talking about the receivers. He said, look, man, I know you haven't heard of them, but they've got tremendous – there goes Peter Burns, SEC Network, Squirrel. But they have tremendous talent at wide receiver. They haven't had the opportunities yet. And so until we see it, we don't see it. But you give that guy time to throw. I mean, we saw it in the bowl game against Wisconsin. Come from behind win, 31-45, 395 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And it was that – what was it? It was like a 98-yard
game-winning
drive, right? At the very end there to finish it off. You want their schedule real quick, LSU?
Yeah.
All right. USC, September 1st. That's in Las Vegas. Neutral.
Okay. Again, I'm going to go back to all these LSU fans in Vegas. Can you believe this?
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be unreal.
Yeah. Nicholls State at South Carolina, which we talked about. That's a really hard place to play. UCLA at home. South Alabama. Ole Miss at home. At Arkansas. At Texas A&M. Alabama at home. At Florida. And then they finish off with Vanderbilt and Oklahoma at home. So, I mean, it ain't a cakewalk schedule.
No, it's not.
That's for sure.
No, it's not. But they should be. I wonder a lot of times too. If you're not that good early, the confidence of what they did last year, ending the season the way they did, with some of those individual guys coming back wanting to prove, can carry you over the hump first 2 or 3 games until things start to settle in. And I mean, you have to respond though.
Well,
it ain't gonna carry you that long.
That's because I felt like they couldn't tackle the backside of a barn last year defensively. And, I mean, they were bad defensively last year. They gave up, like 30 points in most of their games?
Yeah.
I mean, like, they were bad. So you've got a new DC. What's his name? Blake Baker. I think from Missouri. He was the DC for Missouri the last 2 years, but was at LSU prior. So you've got who we chatted with a little while ago, like off camera. He's small, y'all. Yeah. Small is probably not a fair word to use. He is slimmer than I thought he would.
When you think of dog linebacker, that's
you don't
what I was
think
going to
that.
The impact.
And I think he has said that he has difficulty keeping weight on, which is interesting problem to have that I cannot relate to.
You can see why
all 3 of us are like, man.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not eating. What's that candy bar y'all always eat?
Yeah, caramello.
Yeah, maybe doesn't have one of those.
That's how you know you're a freakish athlete, though. When you can have that impact and with that size, regardless if he's 15 pounds heavier, it's still a wow to me. He reminds me of guys like Raynoch Thompson. Raynoch was small. Not small, but height-wise,
he was tall.
He was
tall,
but his body stature was small. Yeah, standing next to Al Wilson, like you don't expect him to be.
And he was outside. Remember, they kept it super simple for him. True freshman. He was really, really effective as an outside.
They were trying to move him around to give opposing offenses, like in terms of blocking responsibility, a tougher time to kind of locate him and lock up on him. And he kind of struggled in terms of his production as he moved around. So, yes, new DC. It'll be interesting to see how they utilize him. 13 sacks in the last 2 seasons for Harold Perkins Jr. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. It's amazing to think about also with regard to the NFL and the Titans starting training camp. They report a week from tomorrow.
That's close.
Can I tell you
They report a week from tomorrow, on the field crazy. A week from Wednesday.
Can I tell you a really random thought that I had about our guy Sweat for the Titans?
Sweat, yeah.
As we walked outside this morning and how miserable and hot and steamy and hard it was to breathe here in Texas, I thought about, the conversations where people are worried about his fitness and is he going to be in shape and all that. Dude played in Texas.
Yes, he did.
Dude played in this. His college career. Played in it. That's got to be able to help him in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, without question. And I think what's going to help even more, I wonder how many practices for Texas were outside. Titans going to practice outside.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I bet they did.
I know. I'm not saying they didn't.
Outside.
Yeah, I'm not saying they didn't, but I'm just saying it's different than being conditioned and letting that weight fall off of you from sweating like that if you practice consistently outside. With the heat like this, honestly, my team, I'm not going to have us outside like that all the time.
Well,
we're going to be in a complex a lot.
From a dietary standpoint, I know that they have a plan in place for him and they feel good about it.
Yeah,
I'm sure,
So it'll be interesting to see what he comes in at now. Is he cleared to go now?
I would think, man, the feedback getting from him of checking with reps, I would think he's on par, on track to be where he's supposed to be at. You know
just got to stay on the path.
Just got to stay. There you go. Just stay on the path. Yep. And trust that they're going to put him in that situation. They wouldn't have gambled on you that early,
right?
If you weren't going to do it, so you guys got to go hand in hand.
They need snaps out of him. They need production out of him because Big Jeff needs him next year.
And he knows it.
Yep.
So seriously, though, that was one of the first things I thought when I walked out today. I'm like, can you tell we're in training camp mode? I'm like, man, Sweat played in this all the time. This is
you did
this
point
ain't
out
nice.
You did point out that it was hot outside. Yes.
Yes.
And it was early. Like we left the hotel at 8:45.
Right.
8:45. Yeah. And it was early. So
humid.
So there's a little on LSU. There's a little on the Titans. When we come back, we'll talk about Ole Miss. Wide receiver Trey Harris, this man has caught a ton of balls for a lot of yards, never had a touchdown, which is interesting. But Jackson Dart is his quarterback, one of the best in America. So that offense coming off, they won 10 games last year, will be explosive, and we will be entertained. Are you not entertained? By the way, Gladiator 2 coming out. Did you know that?
No.
Denzel Washington is in it.
That's who?
One of the
main, not
a gladiator, but like a gladiator mentor type guy. It looks like in the trailer.
Is Russell the main character?
Russell Crowe's not in it, but like his body has undergone some stuff, man.
Well, my body undergone some stuff too, but they better have me in it.
You know what they can do with makeup and shading?
Yeah, they better do something.
Shade those abs on.
I'm gonna go watch
those
Gladiator,
guys,
man.
Yeah, thanks.
Chisel them on.
Thank you. When we come back, Ole Miss wide receiver Trey Harris next to HL. Broadcasting live from Dallas. Appreciate you being with us. We'll be right back on 104.5 The Zone.
Let's get it on, man. Brentwood Jewelry, BrentwoodJewelry.com, 7012 Church Street East. I am going to the location. Why? Because anything that I want to get done, Brandon and the team make sure of that. Located right in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every single day for over 50 years. And it's a time to get excited because you're always wondering when you're doing the clean outs and things like that, getting ready to go into the fall, may clean out some things and find some nice heirlooms. And you want to get them transformed into something you can wear every day or something special for someone else. Brentwood Jewelry is known for creating custom pieces. They can transform and create a personalized piece that is a unique piece for any person, for any keepsake. I promise you they won't let you down. Engagements, whatever it may be, go on the website, BrentwoodJewelry.com, check it out, and see exactly what they think you need, and you need what they think. Put it all together and you get BrentwoodJewelry.com. Go over there and tell them Big Slate sent you and get you something nice.
Ole Miss wide receiver Trey Harris walking around. We're going to get him on here in a few minutes and talk about that explosive Ole Miss offense. I think people are sleeping on them a little bit. Like, I keep saying like that.
They're a top 10 pick.
Well, yeah, but they're fourth or something in the SEC. I think they have a chance to win the SEC.
You're
not going to go that far?
A chance, yes. Yeah. I think everybody has a chance.
Win. Not everybody.
Top 6 do.
Yeah.
But it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. I love what Ole Miss has. I think you got to be consistent and deliver week in and week out. It's those mental and small lapses that make you question, do you get over the hump? Consistency is at the top. You saw what Sark did with Texas, even with the slip-up of Oklahoma. You saw what Alabama looks like when Miro gets going. You saw what Kirby does. Like, to be up there in that upper echelon, man, that's tough right there, man. So Lane is built for it.
Lane is built for it. And,
what did that schedule look like?
Oh, I'll say this. I just saw Kiff. And obviously, just lost his father, Coach Monty.
Yeah. Right.
And you can see it's wearing on him right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be.
How hard is today for him to come through and do all these interviews and do everything.
Where all the ball he ever knew came from him.
Exactly. And everybody wants to offer condolences and all of that. And I'm sure like hearing stories of his dad probably helps him. I don't know though. I mean, I have my parents right now, but I could see it on his face, as he walked by, I waved, and he's struggling.
I thought you were waving to someone.
No, I was saying when he walked by earlier. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, is she waving his leg or past
No.
So we talked a little bit about this, but I wanted to bring this up real quick before Trey Harris jumps in. Titans head coach, A to Z Sports put this back out there. Titans head coach Brian Callahan on playing his starters in the preseason. Quote, I believe in those guys playing some in the preseason. I think starters playing a little bit in those games is going to go a long way. Where do y'all come down on that?
Yes,
starters
please.
Playing in the preseason games.
You know how I am for guys that are established.
Like Big Jeff, you don't need to see Big
I don't need to see him, but this is the first time that I've been on where it's been a new regime.
Right.
So it's a little bit different as far as getting reps in with your guys.
New offense, too. I would expect maybe even guys like D-Hop will play.
Yeah, and I think guys like D-Hop want to play.
Yeah.
I think this offense is going to be that exciting. Now, the defensive part of it, do you need a rhythm necessarily for defense?
Yes.
Because defense is usually ahead of the offense, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah, just because they know what the offense is doing or trying to do.
Yeah, so, I mean, how much you need to see from a guy like L'Jarius Sneed, Cheeto, Big Jeff?
I don't care. I want to see. It's a completely new defense, completely new coordinators, completely new regime, completely different offense than what any of these guys have played. And you have to, I think, hit that communication with who you're playing next to, kind of feel a little bit of the speed, get your body going a little bit.
I'm definitely agreeing with you on offense.
I want to see all of them. I want to see a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to see a ton. I want to see a little bit in one game from the offense and the defense. Boom.
What's
all
a
right,
little bit?
Let's talk more about that as we go through the show. Ole Miss wide receiver Trey Harris is walking up to the table. So let me go ahead and do this. He caught 54 balls for 985 yards last year, 6'2", 205 from Lafayette, Louisiana. Trey Harris sitting down at the table while you get set. I'm gonna reset. Tell 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay. We got Ole Miss wide receiver Trey Harris at the table. Trey, what's up? How are you, man?
I'm great. How are y'all?
What went into the outfit, brother? Best dress so far. Don't you think?
Decked out, man.
Yeah.
It's the color. It's the color, man. Perfect.
You pick all this out?
Yeah.
You have help
from my mom, of course.
Yeah.
back home, I have a tailor named Harold Baptiste, so shout out to him and Bespoken Collective going on out there. So, just going with school colors, hotty-toddy, repping hard right now.
Love it, man. Huge year last year. How much momentum does that give y'all coming into 2024?
It gives a lot of momentum. It is a new year, though, so, we're still going into the same mindset of getting better every single day. That's really the biggest thing we're harping on as a team, getting better every single day, getting 1% better. And, we're going to go out there, play whenever that first game comes, and we're going to be ready for it.
Glad to have your quarterback back, I'm sure.
Oh, most definitely.
How talented a guy is that?
Hey, super talented, and before the talent, he's an extremely hard worker.
Yeah.
That's something that's really shown his work. He's shown his work since the beginning I've got there, and that's one thing he continues to harp on with each and every guy that's new or even just a younger guy is put the work in. That's what I'll be harping on for sure.
Ole Miss wide receiver Trey Harris talking about quarterback Jackson Dart for those that don't know.
Yes, obviously you're healthy.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
ma'am.
So great news. How would you describe what we're going to see from this offense this season?
Definitely explosive offense. A lot of guys touching it. We got a lot of new pieces around us, and everybody's going to share the ball. Everybody's going to touch the ball. Everybody's going to get their reps in and stuff like that. But high tempo offense as usual from Ole Miss, and we're going to be throwing the ball a lot. So expect a lot of touchdowns.
The hype is there. Like it's there. I mean, it's top 5, top 10. That the hype is there. Can you guys live up to it?
We're not really too much worried about the hype. At the end of the day, that's all outside noise for us. We still focus on, getting to that first game of the season. And, it's still a long time with all the expectations we have going on through the year. So, we'll just keep going, chopping wood, carrying water, and going throughout the year and doing what we got to do. And hopefully we can live up to those expectations everybody has.
Trey Harris, wide receiver with us from Ole Miss. Now, the offense is always talked about, man. Y'all got one of my young fellas down there, Key Lawrence, man, who transferred in.
Okay.
How is it as far as iron sharpening iron, you guys getting to go against that defense with some new spots and with some guys that were coming in with some winning also on the defensive end of the ball?
Oh, it's great because we do have a lot of – with the transfers coming in, we have a lot of experienced guys. A lot of guys have gotten a lot of game reps. So with that, we know how to practice.
Yeah.
So we know how to practice. We know how to be intentional with everything we're doing. So that's definitely the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Right now we do OTAs throughout the summer, just doing 7-on-7. And, a lot of guys, we put in a lot of work in. We put a lot of work in outside of that, just one-on-ones and even just doing release work. So just seeing those guys outside and just doing as much as possible and keeping everybody healthy, that's the biggest goal for us right now.
Don't know if you thought about it this far ahead before the season even got here, but what's one thing that you got down listed as motivation for this year? Like, what are you playing for this year?
Well,
if you had to touch one thing.
Well, of course, national title. But, I just want to go out there and prove that I'm a dominant player every single day. That's every single game. That's my mindset. I want to go out there on the field and be established as the best player on the field. That's my mindset going into every single game this year.
Should have a lot of opportunities too.
I always have to ask this with players who play for Coach Kiff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you love, like, the swagger and the tweets? And I feel like he's toned it down a little bit lately. I don't know, but I want your perspective on Kiff.
Yeah, I love Kiff, man. Everybody really loves him. He allows us to be ourselves. He allows our personality to flourish, I guess you can say. And that's one thing that all players are really looking for in a coach is to allow their players to be themselves. And that's really all we can really do is be ourselves and go out there and play hard. And with him allowing us to do that, it lets us be free on the field as well.
So do you think he's toned it down lately from maybe where he was in the beginning?
I'd say just a little bit.
Yeah.
Sure, just a little bit.
Okay,
sure.
I'm not crazy.
Why, is he getting old or something? Is that what
I
happened?
guess.
Hey,
Maybe
man,
it's juice. It's the dog softened him up a little bit, right?
Trey Harris with us on 3HL, Ole Miss wide receiver. Hey, man, thank you for the time, brother. Yeah. And we'll be watching this year. It's going to be fun offense.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
There you
go. Good luck.
Ole Miss wide receiver Trey Harris. More 3HL next on 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening, good people? Let me tell you about Low T. Low T Center. You got to go in there and get you some good act right. Yeah, get some testosterone, man. You're feeling a little lack of motivation. You're gaining weight. Your drive, your motivation doesn't feel like it's there. Noticing loss of muscle mass. All these things could be signs of low testosterone. Don't wait find out right away. Go to Low T Center, make it easy. They check your levels, get the results back in about 25 minutes. It's just a simple blood test, and with their on-site lab, is always right back to you. So you don't have to wait. Low T Center is not a typical doctor's office. The experts at Low T Center have over a decade of experience, 4 established patients with stable T levels. They also offer a convenient physician-monitored self-inject treatment plan that ships directly to your home each month without the need to come in for weekly visits. I go in for my weekly visits. You can do the same thing. I go to McEwen. You should go and check it out as well. So go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment today. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, we know it is summer. You got kids running around. You got outdoor activities, pool parties, and maybe your laundry room, your mud room, and or your garage or even playroom in the house is just an absolute disaster now at this point. You need some organization. You should call Artisan Custom Closets. Don't just clean out those messy areas of your home. Get them organized from Artisan, ARTISAN, customclosets.com. They are local, and everything is made and manufactured right here in the South. They are not a large change business. They are not only local, but they will customize every single thing they do in your home. So whether that's a show-stopping closet or a new pantry or maybe that home office you've been waiting for or the garage system, which is what I did, that makes your life easier and brings some calm to your head like it did for me. They do it all. They start with a free in-house design consultation. They have multiple financing options, and I promise you, you will love Artisan Custom Closets. 615-800-2199. That's 800-2199. Or just go visit them online, artisancustomclosets.com.
Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Joe Hunk. SEC Media Days started today in Dallas. 3HL broadcasting live from there as we speak. Commissioner Sankey kicked it off earlier today talking about how the SEC is not looking to expand past the 16 teams that are currently in the SEC. He also added in that the SEC as well as the ACC this year will be collaborating with Apple to bring iPad technology to the sidelines this upcoming football season. The Major League Baseball draft still going on right now as we are currently in the 8th round, where former Vanderbilt player Davis Diaz was just drafted by the Oakland A's, and Aaron Combs of Tennessee is now a Chicago White Sox. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone, broadcasting live from SEC Media Days in Dallas, Texas. Brent Doty, Don Davenport, and Ronald Sylvester Slay. You having a good time, Slay?
I'm having a ball, man.
All right. We're going to have fun now. Jim Nagy, Executive Director of the Reese's Senior Bowl, with us on 3HL. Jim, good to see you again, man. How are you?
Yeah, great to see you guys.
How beneficial is this for you to be able to come and talk with players face-to-face?
I don't know.
Depending on what was said first.
My wife always asks me, she's like, why do you do this every year? And I said, well, everything's working right now, so I don't want to take my foot off the gas. I don't know what's working, but something's working. We're coming off our best year at the Senior Bowl. We had 110 guys drafted this year, which
43%.
43% of the draft. So I told her, I'm like, I don't know if this is part of it. If it is, we'll see. But, yeah, so I show up every year. So we'll see.
So you took over in 2018, and the transformation of this game has been just unbelievable. I mean, players talk about it, people look forward to it, and obviously the draft numbers, you can't ignore that. What has maybe the reaction from the players to you? How has that changed in kind of the last 6 years?
Well, they know me more now. I'll say that. That was the big reason why the Senior Bowl's been great forever. Let me start by saying that. This game's been great forever. The history's unbelievable. What we've done, we've marketed it better, I guess, and using social media. So, the big part was when I took the job, a bunch of guys in the agent community told me, they're like, Jim, the players don't know enough about your game. So when they would get the invite, they would go straight to the agents and say, should I do this or not? Now, hopefully, with social media, we get them excited. Now they know they want to play in it. So yeah, it's a little different. I used to show up at events like this, and again, still some of these guys don't know who the heck I am, but some of them do, and it's helpful.
You know what? Sometimes when you lead with past alums from the Reese's Senior Bowl, it's a little bit different. It kind of markets itself. You got guys coming back for practices, coming back for games. How influential have they been on the Senior Bowl when selling it itself?
Yeah, I mean, we've tried to include some of those guys in the invite process, right? Like we'll use alums of a school to reach out to guys, and then this year we had our 75th anniversary, and so we did a 75th anniversary team. We had 17 of those guys back, so it was, and a bunch of them were gold jacket guys, and so it was Terrell Owens and all these great players. So to have them around the week, I mean, it really helped the event, and yeah, I mean, I tell our players, we just finished up our Hall of Fame weekend a couple weekends ago. D'Amico Ryans was there, so it was cool having D'Amico down. Again, now that he's a guy that's building a football team with the Houston Texans, he's seen the game from a player's perspective, and now kind of a front office head coach perspective. So yeah, our players, that's us. I mean, our players are our history.
We're Titans country. We don't really like what D'Amico is doing there in Houston, right?
Yeah, they're going to be your competition for a while.
For a while, it seems like. Yeah, no doubt. Okay, let's talk about some of the prospects that you guys have an eye on coming into this season. And shoot, we can probably stay in the SEC and have a very large and long conversation, right?
Yeah.
What are you seeing kind of, at least within the SEC, as you're looking to seniors and juniors, right?
Yeah, I mean, now we can have juniors. That's a great point, Don. Last year was the first year we could bring all juniors. Before last year, for about a decade, we could bring guys that graduated. So we have had juniors in the game, but now it opens up to all of them. What's weird for me is being able to, like this morning, I woke up and put a tweet out about Garrett Nussmeier, the quarterback at LSU, and it felt a little weird. Brian Kelly was one of the first guys I saw down here. I'm like, Coach, I know he's got 2 years of eligibility, but
Brian Kelly's like, I'm going to need you to step back. I might need him for a couple.
No, he had a hell of a bowl game, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I will say this. I have had coaches call me, and I won't name names, but I've had coaches call me and be like, Jim, he's like, can you chill out? Can we pump the brakes on this guy? But I'm looking back on stats from last year. So out of the 110 guys we had drafted, 31 were from the SEC. So obviously it's a conference that we have to hit hard, and you can. Everyone wants to start at quarterback. Last year we had Rattler and Milton, and this year's group with Carson Beck, and I think Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers, even outside the SEC, are probably the top two guys heading into the year nationally. And then you got Jackson Dart and Graham Mertz at Florida. So just starting there, but there's so many good impact players. I mean, Pierce right in your backyard, James Pierce at Tennessee. So
what do you think about him?
Really athletic, man. Really athletic. I won't throw out Von Miller's name, but I guess I'm throwing out Von Miller's name a little bit. Because Von's thing was he was so super athletic and explosive. And to me, when you watch this guy, he can rush one-on-one, and he can also rush off other people. And that's what Byron Young was so good at Tennessee, was rushing off other people on the stunts. And we just had Byron back in Mobile a couple weeks ago as one of our rookies of the year. What do you have, eight sacks last year for the L.A. Rams? But, yeah, Pierce is just – you can get to the quarterback, you're going to get drafted high. That's the bottom line when you're that athletic. He's a really good player. Obviously be one of our top targets.
So other possible prospects from Tennessee, how many guys are you kind of looking at, and what are you thinking about their roster?
So I think we have – I said off the air we had 7 draftable grades. I think we have 8 draftable grades right now in Tennessee guys, and we are grading glass half full right now. So when you work for a front office in an NFL team, that's what you do. You grade glass half full in the summer, and then you'd much rather push guys down the board than raise them up. Like even me, like at our place, like I hate getting surprised in November and guys popping up off the radar. I'm like, man, I didn't even know about this guy. So we're going to have, when we put out our watch list here on August 21st, there's going to have over 700 players on it, which is not I don't love that. I like being around 400, but this is the last year of that extra COVID year.
Right.
So this is going to be a really bloated draft class. So we saw a lot of guys go back to school that we had day 3 grades on last year that would have been drafted a year ago, but they came back for the NIL stuff. So, the offensive line's got a bunch of guys, Mays and Spragans and all those guys. And you guys could probably give me an update on Brew McCoy. He was a guy we really liked last year. I hope he's bouncing back, health-wise. Hope he's coming back. So, mentioned Pierce, and there's a bunch. So, 7-8 guys.
Nice.
I know they say Brew he's supposed to be focused and ready like no other. So, got all the NIL stuff out the way, focused on football, and is dialed in. So, I expect some big things from him.
He'll be healthy, though?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. No, he was a guy. We would have invited him last year had he been healthy.
So, how do you go from Jim Nagy, executive director of the recent Senior Bowl, how do you go from 700? Like, what's that process?
Well, we just hired our staff, so every year is different at our place. We hire a new staff every year with guys that get let go in the NFL. It's important to me that we have experienced eyes watching these players. We owe it to these players to do it the right way. So we've got a guy that was a college director with the Arizona Cardinals. We got a guy that was the pro director of the Houston Texans. So it's an experienced staff, and we're going to put eyeballs on all these guys. And again, a year ago at this point, just to show you our process, a year ago at this time, we didn't even have a grade on Xavier Leggett at South Carolina. He ended up being one of our first-round draft picks. So we will start. We will start new. I tell everyone, like, it's important we've watched the junior stuff. It's important we have a starting point. But we need to start over. We owe it to these players. They've all been in the weight room. They've all been on the practice field getting better. So we will start from scratch when we kick off week 1.
I think I ended up running into – I worked a midweek MAC game last year, Toledo, obviously Quinyon Mitchell and all of that. I worked a couple of Toledo midweek MAC games, so got to really see him in person. But I ran into your Senior Bowl scouts at every single one of those games during the week. And then, you put out, guess what, Maxon Hook. Here's another guy from Toledo. I'm just curious how you go about finding – these guys that the entire country doesn't already know about.
Yeah, I appreciate you commenting on the Max and Hook post. I saw
Yeah.
that the other day. That was awesome.
I love that kid.
Yeah, I do.
Like, he's legit. Yeah.
I do too. So I was up in Detroit for the draft, and it was the day after Quinion got picked in the first round. Jason Candle, the head coach, had me come down and speak to the team, and I met Max. And I mean, the guy's going to be leaving Toledo with his MBA.
Right.
And
super smart.
And he's a really good football player. But we watch all the FBS guys. If you're a starter at the FBS level, we will watch you. Now, when you get down to like the FCS level, D2 level, the first starting point is the All-American and All-Conference teams. But really, a lot of it is just friends in the NFL. Like, we'll get a call. I always use the example of Quinn Miners was a kid a few years ago at a D3 school, Wisconsin Whitewater, and we would have never found a kid at Wisconsin. I mean, without our friends, we would have never found that guy.
That makes sense.
But he ends up in the Senior Bowl, and he goes in the third round of the Denver Broncos, and now he's one of the best guards in the NFL. So having those connections, I mean, my 20 years in the league helps a lot.
Do you have college coaches during the season? They're like, hey, man, I don't
All
think
the
you're
time.
looking at – you need to look at this guy.
All the time.
I'm sure that helps too.
It does.
Yeah.
And you know, so just those relationships at the college level. This whole life's about relationships, right?
Sure.
So I'll like for instance, I'll post something about Max and Hook, and then another MAC coach will hit me up and be like, "Hey, check out our guy."
Yeah.
You know, like we think Hooks too. We scouted him last year when we played him, but our guy's this. The coaches really are helpful in the process.
There he is. He's Jim Nagy, Executive Director of the Reese's Senior Bowl. Jim, always good to see you, man. Thank you.
Awesome to be on. Thanks for having me.
All right, 3HL, more next, 104.5 The Zone.
This is my least favorite ever. I'll actually be on with them on Wednesday with our buddy Buck. Talking SEC Media Days. I want to talk right now, though, about Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Sometimes it's just time to upgrade things in your home, like your windows and doors. I know not the sexiest upgrade. Maybe you're really dreaming of that new kitchen or something like that, but sometimes it's necessary. Maybe you can tell with the heat that we have right now in Nashville, you need new windows and doors. Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville are the best. That's who I used for my replacement windows. They're affordable. They're the best quality out there. And also, they have a great deal going on for you right now. Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville, giving you 50% off qualifying installations and no money down, no interest, no payments for 12 full months. Give them a call, 615-249-1910. Get in on the deal that they have going on right now. Or easiest thing to do, this is actually how I ended up starting out with them. Schedule your free consultation online, and that's super easy to do with Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. All you have to do, go to PellaNashville.com and check out that limited time special offer. Tell them Don sent you.
Welcome back in 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brett Doty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay. South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer joins us now on 3HL. Coach, what's up? How are you?
Doing great. Hope you guys are.
Doing well. What is this event for you? Like, how do you prepare for it? How big is this for you selling your program?
No, it's huge. Obviously, you see the amount of people here. You see the fact that it's on national television, the media attention on it. You know it's big. So for me, it's one kickoff kind of the season. You know, once you do this, it's getting close and it's almost go time. It's towards the end of the summer. And then obviously, you know, our fans watch this and our players will see this and really just kind of making sure that, you know, I'm helping you guys and talking to the media, but also trying to do a great job of getting out there what we need to get out there about the South Carolina football team in 2024.
But it's fun too, right?
It is. No,
like,
it is.
That's one of the things I always love about you is you're always having fun. Like every year you do something that, you know, one of my favorites was the like speed sign thing that you guys were doing, testing speeds and sprint. You know, like it seems like that's something that's important to you and we see across your program.
It is. I appreciate you saying that. I do have fun. Like, I'm blessed. This is, you know, people can complain about this. I don't. I think it's awesome. I mean, I'm 20 minutes before I'm on the main stage on national television, I'm on a bull up there in one of the rooms, like with a cowboy hat. I mean,
boy, I can't wait to see.
Not a real bull, but like a fake bull.
Yeah. I was going to say, they have a bull in the Omni? How'd they get him in here?
Wait, hold on. Is it mechanical?
I asked that. I thought it was. Like, I got on there thinking it was going to be a mechanical bull. They're like, no, it doesn't like turn on. You just sit on it. I'm like,
I mean, that probably could be dangerous, right?
But it's fun, though, to be surrounded by so many great players and coaches, media members that I listen to and see, being able to talk about something that I love, which is coaching at South Carolina. It's hard for me not to have fun. It's a long day, and it can wear on you, but it's fun, too.
Well, and you have a adorable sidekick with you, too.
Yeah, he thought he wanted to experience SEC Media Day. I'm not sure he'll be back in 25.
Look at the look on his face.
I know. He's like, man, this is
He's hangry right now. It was early morning in Columbia, and he hadn't really had lunch, so we're in that mode right now. But it's cool to be able to share it with him.
South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer with us on 3HL.
Coach Beamer, man, this is an opportunity for you to go in the Boom Boom Room. It's only right being able to do this. When you walk in the Boom Boom Room, the doors are locked behind you. It's only me and you talking.
He knows the drill.
I always got to run it down to him.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you agree to all these terms?
I agree to all the terms.
All right,
I did the Boom Boom Room in 23, and then y'all didn't have me back in 24. So
No. You were too busy.
You was all over. You was all over.
Not me. I always got room for our time for you guys in the Boom Boom Room.
The door is locked, man. Now, Coach Beamer, let me ask you this, man. Stepping away from the game, what's one thing that you would love to be able to go and do if you could snap your fingers, whether that be travel, whether it be spend time on the lake, whatever it may be at the beach? What's one thing to get away from football to relax your mind?
Go to the beach, and I'll be back at the beach here in about 4 hours once I get out of here for a few more days of downtime. But no, we're fortunate in South Carolina. We've got some amazing beaches that are close to Columbia. For me, my son is here, like I said. He'll be 11 in a couple weeks. I've got 2 daughters that are in high school. So just being able to spend some great family time with my girls, my wife, Emily, my son, my 2 daughters. I cherish those moments. And while I'm still – I don't know if they think I'm cool and they want to hang out with me, but they act like they do at least.
Yeah. Family is one thing you continue to talk about. Well, I had an opportunity to come up there at the spring game, see you guys behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's in your culture. It's in your fabric. And you see that walking around talking to the other families. How has that helped usher in through this time of NIL and all this? How's that stability and foundation being a part of your program?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. You know, every year with the portal and whatnot, teams change every year. Every year is like starting over. Yeah. So for us, you know, it starts with that dynamic, and it's about relationships. And with so many new people coming into your program each year, if it's just straight like transactional, it ain't going to work.
Right.
And you've got to be able to connect with people, player to coach, coach to coach, player to player. I don't believe I did a good enough job of that last year, and really have been very intentional about doing a better job of that this year. But that's where it all starts. It's just the relationship piece of it, and you obviously have been around sports all your life. It's about being on teams and how close those teams can become.
See, I love the Boom Boom Room because you get transparency like that. Self-check in the Boom Boom Room. That's what it's about. You got one dinner. You got 4 people you need to have a dinner with. It can be in the past. They can be passed away, present, whatever it is. You got 4 people who would you have at the dinner with you, and what would you soak up?
4 people. Golly.
Now we're getting to it.
Yeah, I'm a history buff,
Yeah.
So I would love to grab, just like founding fathers and people that have been through George Washington, Abraham Lincoln.
That's 2 right there.
Grab
baby.
Thomas Jefferson.
That's 3. We got one more spot now.
Maybe Winston Churchill.
Hey,
a little bit more
that.
recent. Just kind kind of history, leadership. You know, I love history, love leadership. Picking their brain on leadership and stories. I think it'd be pretty cool.
I love that, man. All right, well, that was subtle in the boom boom room. We'll let you out.
All right, my man.
Unlock the door.
Well, I was like, man, you let him out.
That's my guy, man. You know what I mean?
Easy.
I see. We got to set this up. Great year in 22, 23. About it like now, we got to get back on the backside.
I was watching this guy hooping when I was a GA in Tennessee in the early 2000s.
Oh my gosh, seriously?
There's some ties right there, man. Some ties.
I didn't even connect that.
Man.
GA'd for Coach Fulmer 2001, 2, and 3. So I was going to Vol games on the weekends or whenever I could. My man out here was hooping it.
Did you?
And then I'd see him on the strip at night running
That's
around.
what I was going to ask. I'm like, I know it was late.
I don't know the stories. I can remember like walking out of places like I don't even know what's still there, like Cool Beans and those places.
That's
wrong over there across Kingston Pike.
Cool Beans. That's the only one still left. Cool Beans.
I've actually been there. Not even a UT
staple.
Okay, so go ahead.
No, I was just going to say he asked that question one time about what 4 people, and Garrett Nussmeier, the LSU quarterback, said George Washington.
Really?
Also.
Never did ever say the president. He was the first year to say it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Like
we got a bunch of
say
history buffs
they
around
want to
here.
hear the history.
Sports figures, is that what most of them say?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And parents or grandmothers that have passed,
Yeah,
somebody like that. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Wow. Sorry, I was going to go back to football talk.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Might as well.
I mean, well, you talk about the family aspect, the transfers. You've got a lot this year. I mean, you hit the portal. Like, what was the mindset behind that, and how do you think it's worked?
Yeah, mindset was just we had to start 5 true freshmen last season. We needed to increase the depth. If you look back at our issues last season, we had too many injuries, which forced us to play true freshmen, and defensively we just didn't have the depth at all 3 levels: DB, linebacker, and D-line. So, yes, we recruited well, but I didn't want to have to rely on freshmen everywhere. We needed to go increase the depth at every level and feel like we have. We've done that at every position. We've brought in transfers. And if you look at our roster, we don't have a guy right now that has the production of a Spencer Rattler or a production of an Xavier Leggett. But what we do have at every position is overall, in my mind, more talent, more depth. And more competition than what we had last season. So that was the biggest thing, is just increasing all that and feel like we have.
When you look at the portal, you look at recruiting, how do you think, or does it, Texas and Oklahoma coming into the conference affects it?
For us, not a whole lot. I mean, I coached at Oklahoma. We recruited against SEC schools when I was at Oklahoma. Maybe makes it a little bit easier for them to compete against or recruit against SEC schools now being in the SEC. But from our standpoint at South Carolina, not a lot. I mean, the league has gotten tougher. We know that. You're going to be in more battles with those guys, but really we were all ready to begin with.
You guys don't ease into this conference schedule either.
No.
Like you start off with a non-conference, and then you straight into it with Kentucky on the road too.
Yeah, we'll jump right into it. So we've got to be better. We didn't start well last year, and we need to get off to a better start. But now we'll know. At Old Dominion to open the season won't be easy.
Right.
Then we're at Kentucky, then LSU at home in the first 3 weeks. So we're all about competition. You want to compete against the best. That's what you get to do in this league.
You're talking about home. I always say South Carolina is one of the most underrated home environments, like advantages.
For
and it doesn't matter if the team is like national championship worthy or like bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Man, that environment is amazing. And then Slay goes to the spring game. He's like, it was crazy there. And they limited people and all of that.
Yeah.
So this should have been a boom room question. But do you think South Carolina is one of the most underrated environments in college football?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like, our fans bring it every weekend. I mean, we were 2-6 last year at one point, sold out our last 4 home games.
Yeah.
Right.
They bring it every week. I think all you have to do is look back to the Texas A&M game in 2022. They had something crazy. A&M did, I think, 7 false starts because of the crowd noise.
Yeah.
And center snapped the ball over the quarterback's head one time because they couldn't communicate, and that was a turnover. So, yeah, it's we know it's not underrated, but nationally, perception-wise, probably is. So I would encourage everybody to come on to Columbia and see what all the hype's about. You won't be disappointed.
It is fun. South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer. Thank you for the
thank
time.
you guys.
Appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you having me on.
Boom, boom,
fun.
room alone.
Boom, boom.
Enjoy the beach, my friend. We're talking about that environment at South Carolina, and I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, South Carolina. Like, seriously, you're right. Like, it's the weird thing is it's off campus though. That's the part that gets me. But it's at the
really
fairgrounds.
hard to get to, which makes it even more impressive that they draw what they draw, regardless of how they are. It's really hard to get to that stadium.
Yeah,
I remember I have to leave like 4 hours prior to game.
When we went, we walked for forever.
Yeah.
But, it's on a fairgrounds deal, so the tailgating is – but it has kind of an NFL vibe to it, but then the pregame stuff starts. Mm-hmm. And what do they play, 2001 Space Odyssey or whatever?
There are not many entrances better than it.
So cool.
This coming from an Auburn Tiger now.
Spring game slate.
Yeah, I was impressed, man. I was impressed, honestly. Like, they got me. They got me.
Yeah, Langston Patterson walking up to the table. We can go ahead and talk with Langston, can't we?
I'm like, you want to come hop in?
Yeah,
sure.
Let's get it, man.
Vanderbilt linebacker Langston Patterson will get set up here and making the rounds, looking good.
Yes.
And we're going to have Clark Lee on at 5:20 and talk about Vanderbilt changing their offense with a new offensive coordinator. Clark Lee, now the defensive coordinator, will be calling plays. LP, what's up, man? How are you?
Nothing much. How are you?
Doing well. Haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you.
I know. Good to see you, too.
I think you two might know each other.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Your dad and I have been swapping texts as you've been walking around. How's it been here with all this attention?
It's been awesome. It's kind of just been like a dream come true. You grow up watching this. You watch Media Day every year, excited for – what players you think are going to stand out in the SEC, and just to finally be here and be a part of it all is something that's super cool.
Hold on. I see right next to you here somebody holding is this your cowboy hat?
Yeah, it actually is my cowboy hat.
Okay,
where'd
you
get
had
that,
it
dude?
done to come to SEC Media Days, right?
No, I didn't have it done. They do it upstairs.
Okay.
And you put what you want. I put Tim for my number. Spades. Spades is the best suit. If you don't agree, you have problems. Just joking. But
I
LP.
can second that.
And then Vanderbilt on the back.
Okay, let me see that.
Super cool, yeah, of course.
I like it.
I
mean, this is sweet, and it matches your suit kind of. It's like gray.
Yeah, it kind of goes with everything. That's what the lady said. I don't really specialize in cowboy hats, but
that's what she said. Yeah.
I mean, from my perspective, like watching you run around as like a 5th, 6th grader playing over at CPA, to now you're going into your junior season, dude. I mean, time flies.
It flies, man. I just remember what it was playing 6th grade CPA football on the front lawn right in front of the church with the potholes and everything.
Yeah, they're still there.
yeah. And, just going through middle school, high school football. It's hard to beat Nashville high school football, but playing football in the SEC is just a bit different.
Langston Patterson with us, Vanderbilt linebacker. For those that don't know, his older brother, Kane, played at Clemson, also at CPA, but Clemson and Vanderbilt. How much of your success is tied to you growing up trying to chase him?
I mean, I'd almost accredit all of it. Like, I guess. I don't know. But you can't even measure it just because what that dude means to me. I mean, we've always grown up going against each other and everything, and like he was one of the guys that hit puberty in 7th grade, and I was one of the guys that hit puberty my junior year of high school. So I was outmatched for like a long time, and so I always had to find little knickknacks or little weaknesses in his game where I could like have an advantage, I think part of the reason he didn't make the 8th grade basketball team is because he couldn't do an underhand layup. But I was doing those since I was like 6, because if I went up, he'd block that. So I was always having to go up and under. But, that's kind of where I found my love for competing and pushing myself to do everything it takes to win. And just him being my biggest supporter and the guy who's always in my corner. And like last year, I credit like almost a lot of my game to him. He shows me day in and day out what it looks like to work, what it looks like to lead people. He's my greatest example, my biggest mentor. Last year, like last spring, I was a freshman. I didn't really I knew what I was doing, but I still didn't know completely what I was doing or have my brain wrapped around everything. And every day it was a text from Kane, 3 p.m. we're working out together. Because we worked out that morning. I was like, bro, I'm a little sore. I don't know if I feel like working out twice a day. He's like, you'll be there. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll be there. And so it was awesome. But him just making me do 2 lifts with him every day, him showing me what it looks like to watch film, and just being on the field with him all last fall was something that I would never, ever give away, and just been honestly one of the coolest experiences in my life.
So did you talk him into leaving Clemson to come to Vanderbilt so you could play with him? How did that process all go down?
It was Clemson for him. He was going to be the starter the next year, but I think he was ready to kind of move on from that system. Just he did his time at Clemson. He played. He had fun. He played in, started in the playoff game and did really well. And I think for him, just that opportunity opening up, coming to play at Vanderbilt with me, was just something he couldn't pass up on. And I'm over there come on.
He ain't pushing him away.
Yeah, it would be awesome. But at the end of the day, it was his decision. I was only there supporting him.
Langston Patterson, Vanderbilt linebacker, with us on 3HL.
So I know Coach Lee has said he's going to be more involved defensively. He's taken over, play calling, whatever is going on with him. Your take on that, and what have you kind of picked from him being a defensive guy?
Yeah, so during my recruiting process, I was leaning to him in Notre Dame, and just kind of built that relationship there. And then when he came here, looking at other places, and he kind of built this staff, and we already had that connection. And God kind of opened and closed doors, and I kind of knew that Vanderbilt is where that he wanted me. And I believe in Coach Lee and his mission, and I have had that connection built with him ever since he first recruited me at Notre Dame, and I wanted to play for Coach Lee. Top 3 defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. He brings something that's so different to the table and something so special. And I really think that, the only person, maybe, I don't know that there is, but if there was another person that wants Vanderbilt to win more than me, it's that guy right there. Yeah. So it's super cool to be led like somebody like Coach Lee, and just his ability to import structure and a system that's easy, and it's a lot, but also he makes it really simple, and it's something that's very crucial for defense as you face these very high complicated SEC offenses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Langston, you look back on the season that you had, very impactful. Walking into this season, what are some of the goals that you have to build off of last year, especially from the leadership role, now having that under your belt?
Yeah, my first goal is just to win. Yeah. I want to win. I want to do whatever it takes to win, and that's the goal and the main goal. But beyond that, just personally, last year I didn't start a game, and to be able to have the impact I did without starting is something that was big for Vanderbilt, and something that's super cool. So just being able to start and lead the defense this year, and lead the defense to be the best defense it can be, and one of the best defenses in the SEC. You're going to see just 11 people that know what they do, that they're on the same page and flying to the ball every play. And people are going to want to turn on the TV and watch Vanderbilt defense play. Just individually, I want to, last year I led the team in tackles and led the SEC in tackles for a couple weeks. But just, being able to play most of the game, I want to lead the SEC in tackles and be just in contingency for the Buckus Award.
Yeah. What does it mean to you to be chosen by Coach Lee to represent Vanderbilt at Media Days?
Yeah, it's everything, all the players, my brothers woke up this morning and they went out for their usual 7 o'clock workout, and I'm in a suit here at Dallas, so I feel a little guilty. Yeah, exactly.
Hat.
I mean, a cowboy hat, eating Cheez-Its, but I'm super honored to be here, just representing all of them. Just being the best version of Vanderbilt football and trying to just represent Nashville and Vanderbilt super well, and it's truly just an honor to be here and represent them.
How excited are you about the new stadium and the renditions that they're doing there? It's been the same since I was little, and I know for you, when you were little, it's nothing changed really. But now it's about to get a huge makeover. How excited are you about that?
Yeah, we're pumped. I mean, last year was a construction zone, and you'd see teams like Georgia come in, and you'd see them kind of looking around like that, and it didn't bother us. Like to us, a stadium schmadium.
Yeah,
you're gonna line the ball up, and we're gonna play as hard as we can, no matter what. But I think it was definitely something that had an impact on other teams that kind of we used to play to our advantage. That I thought was cool. But this year, the north end zone will be done, south end zone working its way up. I think it'll be finished the following year. But it really is just a first-class stadium and a stadium that's super cool. And it's going to be one that's awesome to play, and I think teams are going to really love it.
Langston Patterson with us, Vanderbilt linebacker. You mentioned CPA and high school football in Nashville. Describe what it was like to play for Engelmark.
I mean, that dude's everything, man. He leads young men and young leaders in such a way that you just don't see anymore. He just shows you what it looks like to be live a life for the kingdom of God, and just for those men to lead and to live for others in service. And you just don't get that a lot of places. And he always talks about your identity. For him, he grew up, he was number 2 rated something. I don't know. I remember seeing his 247, but he went
quarterback,
to Florida.
but an athlete for real.
Yeah, he's one of the best athletes to ever come out of
Went
Nashville.
to Florida, played for Coach Spurrier, and even that didn't fill his cup up. He knew he made football his identity, and it let him down. And to just give back and let a younger generation know that your identity is not in football, it's in the Lord, and when you put your identity in the Lord, that He'll give back many blessings, and just to use the talents He's given you on the field and give them back, and because just God loves watching you use the talents that He's given you for His glory. So, and Engel's one of the main dudes who does that the best, and just shows us what it looks like to use the game of football to develop relationships, and it's not your identity, it's just part of who you are.
You mentioned the competition with your brother and how that drove you and all of those things. I'm curious, your dad, Wes Patterson, is one of the best dudes out there. At what point, did y'all start beating him? Were you 8 years old when you're beating him in basketball?
So, I mean, still probably couldn't take him in a wrestling match, but I'd say basketball, he won't admit because he won't play me anymore, but he never thinks he lost, but the day he lost, he was done playing me in basketball.
That's funny.
But the only thing he will admit is that I took the ping pong title from him pretty early.
Nice.
That's a good one to lean on.
LP, Langston Patterson, hey, good luck this year, man.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate you sitting down.
Yeah.
Congratulations on all the success, and we'll be watching, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for your time.
There he is, Langston Patterson, Vanderbilt linebacker. More 3HL from SEC Media Days next on 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening, man? Cove Generators coming to you, Ron, Slay, and Babsy. Listen, live and direct with it. Cove Generators, generator, automatic standby generator, any brand of generator, they work on it all. All you got to do is give a call to Generator Dave. And why would you need to jump on it now versus in the fall? Because you'll get a guarantee that you'll get the best deal in Tennessee, and you have the early bird discount. Now, that right there is a special offer plus $500 if you mention me, Babsy, 1045 The Zone, 3HL, does not matter. Just mention that and they'll let you know that we are locked in. Special offers now through August 31st. You got to call and get involved in order to keep your power on and not lose it ever again. Now, listen to me. It's real simple. Visit CoveGenerators.com. Never lose power again. Give them a call now, 931-559-3311. Tell them we sent you. CoveGenerators.com. Stay connected through it all.
Speaking of connected, are you getting the connection you deserve? 5G home internet can be spotty, and no one should rely on internet from a cell tower. Get internet for 50% less than T-Mobile 5G home internet in your first year with Xfinity. It's reliable internet with the speed that you need at a great value. You'll get constantly and consistently fast speeds, even during peak hours, with 99.9% network reliability. For the internet experience that you deserve, switch to Xfinity and bring on the good stuff. Now through July 25th, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $30 a month for 12 months with no annual contract and equipment included. That's 50% savings over T-Mobile 5G home internet for your first year. To learn more, go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees are extra. Actual speeds vary. It compares promotional pricing for Xfinity Connect Internet versus T-Mobile 5G home internet at $60 a month. After the promotion, regular rates apply currently, $56 per month. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay, broadcasting live from SEC Media Days. We got South Carolina athlete Luke Doty with us on 3HL. You do it all, man. Quarterback, you can run it.
Yep.
Catch passes.
Yep.
What's your favorite thing to do in the football field?
I've really enjoyed playing receiver.
Really?
I've definitely come to love it. And it's a different art, if you will.
Yeah.
Than playing quarterback. It's two different things. But it's definitely cool to to get out there and really be able to make routes and make concepts come to life. Just with the things you do off the line, how you run the route, all these little intricacies are something that I've never really figured go into it. I've always been like, I'll just run the route.
Yeah.
But as I play the position more and really learn the ins and outs of it, I'm starting to figure out all these different things that are going to help me in my journey through this thing.
So does it help you having played quarterback when you're thinking about route concepts?
It definitely does. It really goes back to understanding where I am in the progression. How am I going to run this route if I'm number one versus if I'm 3 or 4, and just having that kind of stuff in mind is something that we talk about a lot, especially as an offense. So.
Luke Doty with us. Babs, did you know he's from Myrtle Beach?
I love me some Myrtle Beach now.
I've heard.
Yeah, you can do some partying in Myrtle Beach. No Don't worry. I won't get you in trouble. I'm not going to ask you about that. Coach Beamer will beat me if I do that. So what are the conversations like with Coach as far as how to utilize the most successful plays and all that? Are you like, hey, let's do this trick play where I'm the quarterback? What are y'all's conversations like?
It's really just I have to be prepared for anything that comes my way, whether it be if I'm at quarterback, if I'm at wide receiver, whatever it might be, I have to be prepared for it all, and that just goes back to my preparation during the week. As far as meetings, practice, coming back later in the evening and watching film, whatever it might be, in order for me to get ready to go play on Saturday. So obviously, I've got multiple different roles, but I try to compartmentalize everything. On offense, on special teams. Just try to take things, one thing at a time, whether it be an offensive meeting into special teams, making sure I leave the offensive stuff when I go to special teams, just kind of being able to switch my brain around to the different things that I'm playing. And, it's never like, hey, put me here. It's just,
put me in.
If I'm in, then we're gonna do everything we can to get the ball and move down the field.
Defense? What? You haven't talked about jumping on the other side of the ball?
I haven't talked to Coach White yet, but that might be a conversation we'll have later on in the year.
What, inside linebacker or edge rusher? You want to get up the field?
Yeah, edge. You never know.
Yes.
You never know.
I love it. Luke Doty with us from South Carolina.
Luke, you guys loaded up on a lot of speed this year coming in with some guys transferring in, but you got a wide receiver, man, that's pretty special as when it comes to speed. What's his name? Gage
Larverdane.
I got to see him. I came up to you guys' spring game and watched you. Him walking around looks like a creative player.
Yeah.
Like how does?
Nick Harbor.
That's who it is.
Harbor, maybe?
That runs track too.
Yes.
Oh,
that's him.
Man,
that's
a freak of nature, dude.
Yep.
Like what is these practices like with the new quarterbacks? You got guys coming in because a lot of guys got speed. Is he one though?
Yeah, you see him out on the track field or on the track. It's lightning fast,
right.
And I think the biggest thing for him and what he's working on right now is transitioning that same speed to the football field.
Right.
Because obviously it's different. You got pads on, you got a helmet on. But he's done a great job, and he works his tail off to be the best version of him that he can be. As far as catching the ball, running routes, he wants to improve, and he wants to get better at those things, which is kind of what you look for when dealing with those two sport athletes.
Obviously he's had success on the track and had a little bit of success last year, and he's doing everything he can to set himself up for success this season.
You ever get to Nashville, Luke?
I've not been to Nashville yet. No,
that's something
on the bucket list.
It is
Put
on
it
the
on
bucket
the
list.
There
You've heard stories, I guess.
I have, yeah. I've a lot of friends that have been down here.
Yeah.
And just always a good time. It sounds like.
Yeah.
You let us know when you come. Okay?
We'll got you.
We'll give you some advice.
Yeah.
Hey, man, appreciate the time, brother.
Yes,
we'll be,
sir. Thank
we'll be
you guys.
watching.
No doubt.
Good
All
luck.
right, Luke Doty, South Carolina athlete. More 3HL next, 104.5 The Zone. Go to Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. That's where you need to go to get that next new vehicle, whether you're looking for a car, truck, SUV, or Jeep, new or pre-owned. My guy Daniel Gupton and his crew ready to help you out. Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, 24 West toward Clarksville, exit 35, straight shot into the best vehicle buying experience you've ever had. 3450 Tom Austin Highway, just about 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. And these guys are ready to help you out. No pressure at all from them. They simply want what you want. You in the vehicle that's right for you. So let them know what you're looking for. Maybe you need more space. Maybe you need something a little more reliable. Maybe you need something with less of a payment. Whatever you're looking for, they will be able to help you out, point you in the right direction. Take your test drive, go inside. They will help make the numbers work, and it will be that easy. 3450 Tom Austin Highway, just 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. Check them out online. GuptonMotors.com is the website. All the dealership information is there. Address, phone number, inventory, deals they have going on right now at GuptonMotors.com. Again, that's Gupton, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Good evening from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Joe Hahn with SEC Media Days wrapping up here on 104.5 The Zone. Commissioner Sankey kicked it off earlier today saying that he is not a recruiter and he is not going to be trying to recruit other teams to the conference, and that the SEC will focus on the 16 teams inside the SEC. Commissioner Sankey also mentioned the fact that SEC teams will be able to have iPad technology on the sidelines. It won't just be the SEC. It'll be the SEC as well as the ACC. And Tennessee native T. Higgins did not reach a long-term deal with the Cincinnati Bengals, which kind of puts him in a unique situation because he is the only player that was franchise tag to not receive a multi-year deal by the Monday deadline. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Britt Doty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay broadcasting live from Dallas, Texas. SEC Media Days going on. Cole Kubelik joins us at the table. Analyst for ESPN and the SEC Network. McElroy and Kubelik in the morning on Jocks Radio. Shouldn't it be Kubelik and
it
McElroy?
Should, but it doesn't work that way. It's not life. Life doesn't work that way.
Quarterbacks, man.
Life likes Alabama more than Auburn, and life likes quarterbacks more than offensive linemen. So I tell my kids every day, life ain't fair. Get used to it.
So did you appreciate Tony Vitello's celebration? After winning?
I had no problem with it. I thought it was fine. I like Tony. I've interviewed Tony on the sideline before. He's always been great to me. I think he's a fun dude. I think it'd be fun to play for. I know some of the stuff from a while back, directed at other players on other teams. Okay, but I think he's even learned from that and kind of toned that kind of stuff down. Like, who doesn't want to play for a coach that has fun?
Right.
Right.
Like, we've gotten so far away from fun in all sports. I'm for it, man. Like, and it goes back to. Was it Spurrier that said, if they don't like me scoring 60, like, stop us?
Stop me. Yeah.
I mean, that's it. Like, Ron's the same way. Like, if y'all don't want, if we're hitting threes up 20, defend the three.
That's all you got to do, man. That's all you got to do. I mean, like, what you want me to do? Guys, don't shoot the three. I know you worked hard in practice on it, but let's not shoot it.
You can be egregious with stuff like that, but I just, I like fun. So.
So one of the storylines, obviously, down here, Oklahoma and Texas coming into the SEC. Oklahoma here tomorrow, Texas here Wednesday. Nick Saban today. What kind of tickles me is all these people asking questions about how Texas always ran the conference they were in. They're not going to run the SEC, end quote.
I think Coach Saban is smart enough to understand, that's not just on the field. And I think he knows that the implications of that statement have to do with the Longhorn Network, have to do with some other things that Texas has done or attempted to do from a revenue sharing standpoint, and he knows good and well Greg Sankey's not going to let that happen. And then I do think there's a part of him, too, on the field that probably says, like, hey, man, I've coached against Kirby a couple times. Like, that ain't easy. I've seen what Josh Heupel's offense is doing. That ain't easy. I've gone down to Jordan-Hare Stadium and played. That ain't easy. So you're not going to come into this league and just push people around and say, we're Texas, here we are, we're going to go undefeated and win a national championship. It's not going to work that way.
Do you feel like there's two very different attitudes or postures from Texas and Oklahoma as they come into the SEC?
I see where you're going, and it does feel that way. I just don't think we can judge
right now
the schools based on the fans. And I think a lot of that narrative is being pushed by the fans. And let's be real, a lot of Texas fans are entitled. I mean, I don't know another way to say it. And I think Oklahoma fans are a little bit more of the, hey, we'll go earn it. Like, we'll go prove to you what we are. And it's not like that all the time with all on both sides. I'm sure there's some entitled Oklahoma fans. But I do think that there's a little bit of, you hear the people talking about recruiting or what we've done in the league, and that league hasn't been that strong. Like, all right, well, we've heard some other teams say that, and A&M recruited better than anybody for a couple of years. Don't have a championship. There's no banners.
Where that got them.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not even a sticker. Like, I mean, much less a banner or a trophy. So this is a tough league, and people they keep on asking me, like, what's the biggest difference? This, that, whatever. Like, the biggest difference is the attention, the notoriety, the distractions, the trash talk, the environments, the people. Like I tell people when I leave this footprint, they always ask me, what's different?
Yes.
Like, what's most different? And I'll tell you, it's plain and simple, man. We love to hate more than we love to love.
Absolutely.
That's it. And you better get used to that. And yeah, they're used to that with A&M, but are they used to that with Mississippi State and South Carolina and LSU and Florida? And like when you give them reasons.
That's what I said. I'm like, South Carolina was awful last year. And I told Beamer, I'm like, it's one of the most underrated environments in college football, period.
Dogfight.
They were so bad, and they sold out their last 4 games last year.
I was in there with freaking Darude last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he was DJing the game.
Right?
Like, the place was off the freaking charts.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy stadium to get to as a fan. It's not like you're, in Auburn,
like
you're walking
Fayetteville,
across
same deal.
campus. Yeah.
Fayetteville's a little easier now, but I can remember we got rerouted to Tulsa when we flew to Arkansas one year and had to wait like 4 hours for buses to get there and then bus down to Fayetteville. Like
I've heard so many bad stories.
It's not a fun place to go play a game. So it's just there are a lot of aspects to it that I just don't think you understand it until you do it.
Right.
Like, you've got it's the same thing when people say. And Ron, I'm sure it's the same thing with, like, how do you be a good post player? Mm-hmm. Well, I can go teach you all the footwork you want, but, like, you better get against a dude that's trying to elbow your rear end out of the paint, and then you're going to be good at it. Like, how do you get good at blocking somebody? Well, first, let's get against somebody who's trying to make you look bad, put the pads on, and physically go do it every day.
Yeah.
I can take you out through the sleds and T-board, right, left, and go through the chutes. You're not going to be a good offensive lineman. Like, you have to do it against people that are trying to make you look bad, and they're physically trying to harm you. And that's the difference in this league, is it's going to be a lot of that week in, week out.
Speaking of offensive lines, obviously I think LSU probably the strongest in the conference, right?
I think so.
I mean, even I can figure that out, right? And I'm no Cole Kubelik.
You're an athlete, though.
Former Auburn, lineman. So, with the shimmy.
Yeah.
Next best in the SEC, and hit us on what you think about Tennessee and what they can do with theirs.
Tennessee is in the mix. I'm excited this year. I think we have a chance, Don, to have more good offensive line play in this league than we've had in a long time. Nice. Tennessee is in that mix of teams that have a chance to be a Joe Moore Award finalist and be in that conversation late. The difference with Tennessee and some other schools, Cooper Mays has to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And that actually brings a bigger conversation of, I think there are multiple teams in this league. We could say it about quarterback, edge rusher, or if you're leaning on if you had a Derrick Henry at running back, those guys got to stay healthy to be good. I think there's a few teams in this league with guys at other positions that they have. I think Tennessee at running back. I think once you get past one, it's very different, and he needs to stay healthy because they're super dynamic when he's in the game. But Tennessee, John Campbell is not being talked about enough going into this season. He's right there with Ernest Green and Will Campbell and all the other tackles that are going to have good years. Like, he's up there in the mix for that.
We haven't said his name at all.
He's fantastic. Yeah. Now, Lance Hurd coming in from LSU, physically gifted, looks the part. I mean, a monster of a human being, but he's got some adjustments he still needs to make technically, fundamentally. But you get Spraggins back, I love the way he plays. He's got to cut down the penalties. Mays will be back. Like, that group can be really good.
Yeah.
Georgia can be really good. Bama's middle three, really good. I worry about the tackle position. Auburn's middle three is going to be really good this year. I think there's a couple other, like Ole Miss adds Nate Kalepo from Washington. They haven't had many guys like him in a long time. He's a really good player. Missouri's offensive line is not going to go anywhere. They're going to be a good group again. Texas has a really good offensive lineman. They got a first round left tackle. So I think we could have more. And here's what's really interesting about it. We could have more good, let's just say above average offensive line play in the league than we have in 6-8 years.
Yeah.
The D-line play is way down.
Really?
Like, who are the scary D-linemen in the league? Because it used to be, Don, you could go to every team and pick at least one guy, and most teams had two guys. I mean, you go back to like 16, 18, and you had Marlon Davidson, Derek Brown at Auburn. You had Sweat and Simmons at Mississippi State. Even Ole Miss had like a Benito Jones that they would throw at you, tough to deal with. And there's not many teams like Tennessee right now who have 4 interior defensive linemen that can play. Now, see, people will misinterpret that and think that I'm saying that they're Albert Haynesworth or John Henderson. It's but they can hold their own in this league, which is not easy. And then they have the best edge pass rusher in the league. Georgia's not quite the same. Bama's definitely not the same. LSU had 2 scholarship D tackles in spring.
Yeah.
They're not close. That's it. They're not close. They took an FCS kid, and he might be good. I don't know, but I'm just saying, if the offensive line plays a little better and the D line plays a little bit down, Are we going to see more teams kind of go to the run game a little bit more, try to live there?
I got to know real quick, man, why do you think it's an increase in the play of the offensive line? Guys being able to stay together with the NIL going on, transfer portal, it seems that the O-line, and you tell me if I'm wrong, is the only one that's not really breaking up. 2 or 3 guys leaving at a time. Is that what it is? They're still being nurtured?
I think, yeah, continuity, Ron, I think is a big part of it. You have a couple groups, specifically Tennessee, like we mentioned, 3, 4 of those guys have played together a long time. Right. You don't get that very often. Texas, these kids have been together like all 5 for 2 straight years now. That's tough to find. Yeah. So I think that, and then a couple of guys who've added a piece, you're seeing a little more premium on the NIL of saying, we got to go get a tackle. Yeah. And they go get that guy. Kentucky, some of the hits in the portal have been great too. Like they go get Marquez Cox from Northern Illinois. Nobody knew who he was. He played great for Kentucky last year. So it's finding that diamond in the rough, keeping your guys together. And it still goes back to just putting the emphasis on it, like wanting it to be good, wanting it to be great.
Who's your surprise team in the SEC this year?
First, give me the definition of surprise.
Surprise,
because if it's make the playoff, I don't think there is one. But if it's above expectations, I can probably give you a few. Florida, number 1.
Okay.
Really?
But
does part of that have to do with Mertz?
No, part of that has to do with the expectation is 3 or 4 wins. Guys,
okay, so when you say
absurd.
above expectation, are you saying they'll win 5?
I think they're going to win 6, 7 games. Okay. I think a couple things go their way, they could win 7, 8. Yeah. I think if you took Graham Mertz's numbers and put them on 80 quarterbacks in college football, we're talking about them winning 10 or 11 games.
Yeah, you're right.
Because his numbers were that good. I think the offensive line's better. Montrell Johnson's a really good running back. Trayvon Ball, this freshman kid they got, is going to be incredible at running back. The defensive line will be good. Second, third level of the defense, I don't really know. How much more skill will they have? I love the receiver they got from Arizona State. Really good player. Freshman coming in that might be able to help. I think Billy's a good coach, and I just don't think that they're going to be a bad football team. They have talent. The other one I think is Auburn. I think Auburn exceeds expectations. Now, once again, the expectations are 5 or 6 wins.
Hey, that's all right.
And everybody thinks that Peyton Thorne has to be this Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield. They completely flipped that receiver room.
Yep.
There are 4, maybe 5 wide receivers individually that were better than any option they had last year on that football team now. Like Keandre Lambert-Smith's better than anybody they had. Robert Smith, the kid from Georgia State. Now, he's a slot catch and run guy, but he's better than any option. He catches the ball better than any kid Auburn had last year other than Merriweather at tight end. So if that's totally different, the middle of the offensive line's better. Like, how many people have asked you guys about Jarquez Hunter? It's only been a day, but nobody's talking about him.
Yep.
Right.
He's the most proven back in the SEC. So I'm actually more worried about Auburn's defense than offense. If Peyton Thorne can just be C+, B- and go 28-50 for 21 touchdowns and 5 picks, I think Auburn's going to win maybe 8 games. But it's the defense has got to find a way to step up. The D-line the D-line problem. Auburn's D-line's not great. Like, there's no D-lineman they have that scares me. Yeah. They have 2 edge guys that are super athletic, but they're light. Okay, cool. Rush the passer off the edge. Like, we'll run right at you. And, we'll put a chip over there from our tight end, and it's going to be a problem for you.
Real quick, I know we have to go to break, but I just want your take because I don't think we talked to you about it, about J.C. Latham. We've now seen him in spring for the Titans. Summer and spring. He looks like a different level, a different cat in just one-on-one individual workouts. What is, I guess, his specialty? What's going to make him special at the next level? What do you think?
He can. Like I told you guys after the draft, flexibility needs to improve. Feet quickness, change of direction, because he's really heavy and not a bad heavy. I mean, if there's a good 360, he is a good 360. That sounds crazy, but like he's a Vince McMahon first-round draft pick. Like the dude could walk to WWE tomorrow and get a job, just because of how his stature and how he looks.
That's great on a resume too, right?
If he can learn to get a little bit lighter on his feet, it might not hurt him to get down to 345 or 350.
He doesn't look
not at all. No, and that's the lady who was the nutritionist at Bama said he was ahead of Evan Neal and Jaheim Otis as the heaviest lean body mass they ever had under Nick Saban.
Wow.
He was like 350 pounds of lean mass, which means he's like 20 pounds of fat, maybe 505. I was like, oh, okay. He said for 2 max squat, and he's like, well, he did 985 one time with chains. So he did 985 with like the heavy chains hanging off of the squat bar. And he's like, we stopped him.
They stopped him.
Better with his agility and flexibility, he could be a great tackle in the league.
Yeah. Cole Kubelik, ESPN, SEC Network, Talks Radio. Thank you, Cole. Always good to see you, man.
Absolutely, guys. Appreciate you having me.
100% debt-free from it. And all of your other loans. The average homeowner right now, they're tracking. You can start the entire process, loanpronto.com. Give them a call at 615-499-5780. That's 499-5780, loanpronto.com. NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
Welcome back in 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Britt Doty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay, broadcasting live from SEC Media Days. Look at here, Vanderbilt coming through. Clark Lee joins us now. Coach, what is this, the fourth time you've done this?
This is number 4.
Yeah, you know exactly what's going on
I guess
here.
I'm officially a vet at that point.
Yeah. What is Media Days for you as a head football coach?
I mean, it's fun. It's the start of the season. This is the start of the season for me. So it's exciting. It's a circus, obviously, and you kind of make the rounds and you answer a lot of the same questions, but it's a chance to talk about your program, and so you can't miss out on that opportunity. I like to try to get dressed up and look the best I can. I see you guys dressed down for the day, and that's okay too.
Hey. Who said I'm dressed down? Who said I'm dressed down? I feel like I'm top notch out here.
Here's the thing. There's a couple things, Ron. I don't have a Boom Boom Room shirt. I've been in the Boom Boom Room. I also think we need to go with some different colors.
Yes.
And again, can we have a black and gold option?
Yes, I do. Then it'll be especially for you.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. Now
hoodies and everything.
Slay has orange on his shirt. If
you're not watching.
Yeah.
Can I just say how much I love the subtleness of that dig, Coach?
I've always
I'm
been like
really
this.
impressed by that.
Well,
yes.
It
Very well
shouldn't
done.
be a shocker. It shouldn't be a shocker with
By the way, this is like my favorite time of the day. So to get to hang with you guys is like being with my buddies.
I
There
know.
you go.
Well,
Yeah.
it does signify the start of the football season. Like, how ready are you to get the guys out there? How anxious are you?
We've been going at it this summer. I mean, I think it's such an interesting time in college athletics.
Yeah.
And it's so different than when I was playing, where you didn't see the coaches in the summertime.
Yeah.
We have done a lot of work with them on the field, and so I've gotten a chance to see the growth and the development. Obviously, there's physical measurements of that. We've done a great job in the weight room, advancing the team. All the things that you would expect a coach to say. I mean, these things, though, to me are exciting. And fall camp will be, you get to practice, you get to scrimmage, you get to kind of set your depth chart, you get to set the vision for what the season's going to look like. But we'll know a lot more about this team than we did when we have in the past, just because of the amount of work we've done with them this summer.
Quarterback?
We got a bunch of them, and there's no reason for me to get out ahead of myself and talk about where the depth chart is. Obviously, I think to say with Nate and Diego, we have two guys that have taken meaningful snaps at a high level, one of whom played in the system before, both of whom are competitive and tough. And one of the things I'm really excited about is just that you want your competitive identity as a team to run through that position, and I think we have that in the makeup there. Blaze Berlowitz came to us from New Mexico State. Drew Dickey was retained. Both of those guys have shown flashes too. You can't prepare 4 people, so early in fall camp we'll need to focus on who those top 2 guys are and how we get them the snaps that they need and we need to evaluate and find the best one. But even then I think those guys are too talented to have them sitting on the sideline watching the game. So Tim's challenge is going to be, how do we get the best 11 out there, down in, down out? And it's good to have some tools in the toolbox.
You mentioned the bringing players, coaches from New Mexico State. Jerry Kill, is he on staff officially with you guys right now? And
oh yeah,
he's one of my favorite human beings ever.
She loves him.
I have always been obsessed with Coach Kill, and his very nice tattoo that he got after he did things at New Mexico State that you never would have thought could be done there.
Have you seen his final press conference from after the bowl game?
Yes.
That was an all-timer.
Yes.
Talk about not pulling any punches.
Yeah. Coach has that in him. But what have you leaned on him for? What has he brought?
175 wins as a head coach, 24 years of head coaching experience. He's done it at places that are challenging, and we're building something where there hasn't been anything, and we're doing it at a time where the ground beneath our feet shifts every day. So I need that help. I need that outside eye to come in and say, these are the systems that are totally aligned with you. Here's where we need to put our focus. When you talk about a football program, everything matters. So it's not just about team meetings or offensive meetings, defensive meetings. It's our nutrition program. It's our academics. It's our strength and conditioning. All the things that bind together to make us effective. And Jerry has been masterful at coming in and evaluating each of those and saying, hey, these are the things we're doing well. Here's where we need to put our attention to improve, enhance. And that's been the starting point. The other thing too, I think, in this is there are a lot of things that we are doing really well, and independent of the results a year ago, there are a lot of things in our program that when you come out and watch us practice, when you watch us train, you're going to see a group that's working together, working hard, that's detailed and disciplined, and so he's been able to affirm some of those things that I in my heart of hearts know that we're doing well, and it's just a matter of time. It takes time for the results to show up. So I've leaned on Jerry to kind of evaluate all those aspects, and then, again, he becomes a guy that as I shift my focus to really mentor the defensive staff and to focus on their development, he can do the same for the offense. And he's a great guy for me to lock arms with right now. And not to mention the fact I'm turning 43 this year, so in a year where I'm starting to tip, a little bit older, Jerry makes me feel young again. Yeah, there you go. And I don't think he would mind. I don't think he'd mind me saying that.
Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee with us on 3HL.
Coach, it's time to go in the boom boom room, man.
All right, let's go.
All right, man. The door's automatically locked. I ain't got to run down the rules or anything. He knows what it is, so lock the door, man. The boom boom room brought to you by Low T Center. Coach Lee, now give me something that you've taken from your players over this time of being a head coach. Something off the field, like you're a really thought-out guy. You pick up on things. You're very observant. What's something that you picked up from your players that had nothing to do with football, but just life in general?
Oh, man, that is. I mean, look, I think I learn every day about how cool I'm not, and at this point in life, I'm all right with that.
Cool.
But I don't try to be anything other than myself. I think I've learned a lot about. We are doing something that at a baseline is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing it in a time where I've said this today, but I'll say it again. Program building has changed completely. To me, team building is still a sacred art.
Yes.
And we can't forego that process of team building. And so I've learned a lot about the power of taking the time. Is it 10 minutes? Is it 30 minutes with a player, and how meaningful that is in my position to listen, to learn, and to understand really all the motivating factors around the day in, day out performance. And it's not that those things weren't, obviously I wouldn't be here if I wasn't able to pick up on things that way in the past. But when you're the head coach, you're not dealing with one position group or one side of the ball. And so it's how you direct your attention day in, day out in a way that makes them feel a part of your program, as is so important. And I've learned that in my office, on my couch, listening to them talk about the things that are important to them. And I think that becomes more and more important as we go, and certainly is something that I'll continue to look to do. And I think as the defensive coordinator now, I get a chance to really spend some time. And if you can imagine, teaching is a sacred process too, but I get to share my passion every day with these guys now. And it's different than just getting up and preaching culture. Like, I'm actually helping them improve. And one of the great things about coaching is when you realize you can actually have an impact on the performance. I can't necessarily make someone bigger or faster. What I can do is help them process in a way that ultimately allows them to play to their instincts on the field. And being able to do that and sharing that with them, that's meant a lot to me. So I don't know that answers the question.
No,
well,
it does. Well, you wouldn't get out of the boom boom room if it didn't answer the question. So it
doesn't
doesn't matter.
You just be locked down there with the lost souls.
Yeah, you better know it. Yeah, 2 hots in the cot. Now, this is what I need to know too. You're a guy that isn't afraid of self-check. You've had to navigate COVID, NIL, transfer portal, all in the matter of 3 years. And get ready to go into this one now.
Welcome to being a head coach.
Like, how do you self-check and make sure you have a foundation for you to be able to get up every day and go do what you do? With it always changing the way it is.
Well, I say, and something we say in our program, you got to belong to yourself before you can belong to anyone else. And every day when I walk into the building, ultimately my time is dedicated to the other people in the building. And so I've got to be up early enough to do the things I need to do to make sure I'm prepared for that. also I train with our strength coach 3 days a week.
You look like
so. Well, thank you, buddy. And so
compliment. Look at
it. That's
the last
we're
one.
vibing right
that's
now.
The last one.
We're vibing.
That's the last one.
But for me,
he
and I think, to be honest with you, the guy that helps me with my suits probably knows the stress of this job better than anyone else. We've talked about this, right?
Yeah.
Man, you can lose track of that pretty quick.
Yes.
So I think honest self-evaluation is important. I think it's critical, and it's actually one of the things I respect most in people is the ability for them to look at who they are, where they are, and what they're doing, and make adjustments on their own because they want something really bad. Being a parent helps that because everything is seen through the lens of what I want my kids to see in their dad as he does something challenging, right? That we don't lose touch with certain really important aspects of being human, and commitments that we make to ourselves. And then, to be honest, the most fun part for me, because maybe it's a little less personal, is just like being able to look at the performance in the role too. And there have been a lot of challenges, Ron, and it's look, I don't control that.
Yeah, no,
but
of course.
I mean, there are days where I've gotten my ass kicked, and it's you have to be willing to accept that they say the full catastrophe, right? Like there are really good days, there are really hard days, and it's all meant to progress you forward. And I think it's all learning. So even as we were disappointed a year ago, we get to look back, step back, make adjustments that put us on a course towards the future success that we know we're going to have. And I think in all that, it makes it even more special, even though it's hard.
Absolutely.
Are you coming in? Can I come in?
Come on in.
Yeah.
Come on in.
No, I just listening to like the challenges and the difficulty and all of that, and please yell at me if I'm wrong at how I phrase.
No yelling in the boom boom room.
Okay.
Unless it's a party.
All right. If I phrase this question wrong, but I am curious, how detrimental is the transfer portal to a program like yours?
Well, it has been really detrimental to us, and I'm not afraid to say that. I mean, I think it's been our falling behind in those areas, and falling behind is not hard to do because this is all new, and what we haven't done is weaponized an approach or a strategy, and to do that, you have to be dedicating resources that allow you to be competitive. And we've just look, building a program is and especially one that this hasn't been an engine that's been running. Right. We've had to get all these things started. So you look at a year ago. I mean, look, we've 2 guys drafted from other programs played their final year eligibility in other programs in our league, right? That can't happen. Yeah. We can't get to that point. And beyond that, you look at December and how challenging that was. Here's the shift. Now, I'm really proud of how we responded because we showed resilience. Candace Lee, if you guys know Candace, I mean, her competitive toughness, her desire to win, our ability to collaborate on these issues and say, hey, look, there's nothing we can do about the fact that this wasn't pre-made for us. How are we going to work together to get it where we want it to be? And so she has my back. We fought hard in the winter. We were able to add players in the portal, and now I think we're seeing a shift in that to where it's going to become an advantage. But that's something we have to continue. We can't take it for granted. We have to continue to work at it. And I'm fortunate to have such a great leader that understands and is willing to reimagine what this all looks like for us.
How challenging are those conversations with your own players that are thinking of moving on? And how do those conversations happen? When do they happen? How challenging is that?
We've started to address this on the front end because it's just a reality. And, look, personally for me, I'd love to live in a world where you just assume the loyalty and you just assume the fact that if the program is sticking to the messaging and we're taking care of the people. The truth is the portal is actually a really healthy thing because you have to be willing to sit down and have the conversations. Yeah. But we have 2 opportunities in the year. There's a winter portal window and a spring portal window. And I started the summer saying, listen, it does no one any good, not a player, not a coach, to think about what they may or may not do in the wintertime at this point. Because every day you think about where you may go, and anyone who's in your ear talking about that is stealing you from the progress that awaits you where your feet are. So let's commit to just dedicating ourselves for the next 8 months to Vanderbilt football, to engaging the resources around you and becoming the
Here with South Carolina linebacker Debo Williams on 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Debo, what's up, man? How are you?
How you doing, man? I appreciate y'all bringing me on.
Man, this is a long day that you are going to have, that you're experiencing, but it's got to be an honor to be down here.
It's truly a blessing. It's actually one of my dreams right here.
Welcome back in 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brett Doty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay. South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer joins us now on 3HL. Coach, what's up? How are you?
Doing great. Hope you guys are.
Doing well. What is this event? Welcome back in 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brett Doty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay, broadcasting live from SEC Media Days. Look at here. Vanderbilt comes.
All right, for over 38 years, guess who has been making homes stunning with landscape lighting? That would be Bob Lyons and his entire group over at Outdoor Lighting Perspectives of Nashville. Nashville's oldest landscape lighting company, and they're the leader in LED technology. They will even come to your house and do a free nighttime design demonstration to show you exactly how Outdoor Lighting Perspectives of Nashville can beautify and enhance your home and your landscape. I didn't even need the demonstration because I already knew what a difference it would make in my backyard, in my driveway, and now we finally got a brand new deck because our other one had holes in it. And Outdoor Lighting Perspectives of Nashville, Bob came out and put lighting on our deck too, so we can now actually eat dinner and hang out with friends on our deck and in our backyard because we can see. Maybe that's you. Let Outdoor Lighting Perspectives of Nashville light up your night with festival lights, path lights, wall washing, tree lighting, area lighting, you name it, they do it, and they do it well. Go online, catch them there. Bob and his team will get right back to you. OutdoorLights.com/Nashville.
What's happening, people? Ron Slay coming to you with KellamStemCellInstitute.com. Go and get your holistic stem cell therapy because I will stamp it and let you know that it makes you feel so much better, man. Your body, your cells, your solution. All you got to do is go in, man. They harvest your body's stem cells, store them for future and continued use. And these cells are your body's own healing cells, harvested and redeployed based on your needs. So stem cells attack the inflammation in the body. And with this therapy, they attack right there, the spot where it's hurting. My knee, for instance, my shoulder, for instance. All of these things, man, we're taking care of. All you got to do is go set up your consultation, 615-850-4415. That's where you sit down and you talk to Dr. Kellum, ask him all the questions that you have, and guess what? He's going to give you the answers. Then you'll line it up, go get your holistic stem cell therapy, and be ready to roll. All you got to do is go to KellumStemCellInstitute.com. That's KELLUM, StemCellInstitute.com.
Here with South Carolina linebacker Debo Williams on 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Debo, what's up, man? How are you?
How you doing, man? I appreciate y'all bringing me on.
Man, this is a long day that you are going to have, that you're experiencing, but it's got to be an honor to be down here.
It's truly a blessing. This is actually one of my dreams right here.
All SEC linebacker. What'd that mean to you?
It meant everything. That was one of my goals coming into the season,
yeah.
So it meant everything.
7 double-digit tackle games.
Woo.
Did you
That's
even
work.
know that?
Nah, yeah, you reminded me. I didn't even.
So you like going sideline to sideline? You like getting up the field? What are your strengths?
Honestly, I like both. I like coming up the field. Those where the TFLs come in. Sideline to sideline is like, oh, I'm chasing you down. You can't get away from me. So like those. And then my goals coming into this season is definitely getting some more turnovers, causing more havoc.
South Carolina linebacker Debo Williams with us on 3HL.
So it's funny when you do, like, go read some things about you and do some research, like something that comes up is big personality, bigger hitter.
Yeah, I love that. I don't know where that came from, but I love it, though.
Yeah.
I have seen it a couple times.
Love it. So that personality, like, what was it like growing up for you? Where does that kind of come from?
Honestly, I just always been outgoing, and I tell people all the time, like, I want my own TV show one day. It'll be the Debo Williams TV show. So, like an Ellen or Oprah, it's not really a sports thing, but I want to bring people on and really have them talk about how they came from 0 to 100. How did you become successful? You know, so I guess I got to have a good personality to be able to do that, being a host.
You know, it's funny that you say that because we talk about we don't say that we interview people. We say we have conversations.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what we're interested in is how you got to this point. So how did you get to this point?
So I came up. I'm from Delaware.
Okay.
I was too big to play in Delaware. They tried to put me in the older age group. So my dad took me to Pennsgrove, New Jersey, where they had no weight limit, and I was there from 5 to 13 years old.
Wow.
Ended up going to Smyrna High School. Had a great career there, 2-time captain. I had like 156 tackles my senior year, but I wasn't highly recruited at all. So I ended up at the University of Delaware for a semester. COVID happened, canceled our season. Got the opportunity to come play with Coach Beamer. My first year coming in, I just was strictly special teams for the most part. But my first game, I had blocked 2 punts. And from there, I guess they could see the potential from there. Tackle season, and I'm like, in my head, I can do this.
Yeah.
I'm meant to be here. And last season, I had a really good season. But this year it's about winning. I could care less about stats. Obviously, I want to dominate, but I want to help my team win even more.
Debo Williams, South Carolina linebacker, with us on 3HL.
Debo, man, now we got to put you in something called the Boom Boom Room.
Okay.
Now, this right here, man, when you walk into the Boom Boom Room, the door's locked behind us. Just me and you rapping, you know what I mean? Just having a good little conversation. So, if you agree to these terms, the only way the door is unlocked is if you choose to tell the truth to the best of your ability, and I'm the judge.
Okay.
You agree with that?
I agree.
Lock the door. All right, here we go. The Boom Boom Room brought to you by Low T Center. I got my man Debo Williams in. I had an opportunity to see you in the spring game, man. See the environment up there and it was electric.
Yes,
you know, even with being a cap on how many people can come, you guys looked like you was really into it. The communication was high. What did that mean coming out of that spring game, and what did you learn about your team?
Well, that's going into my fourth spring game, but just my team wants to be here. They want to play. I love it. Guys is trying to get as many plays as they could. Now, on me, they only gave me like 4 plays.
I know it. I was hot about that,
yeah,
too.
I was hot, too. I'm trying to play. But I just love it, man. We got the best fans in the nation, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
Love that, man. All right, now, next thing is, who is someone that motivates you outside of the sports realm, whether it be father, mentors, uncles, cousins, whatever it may be? Who's somebody that you lean on where you setting them goals and you like, okay, I got to do it for them?
I would definitely say my father, man. Growing up, he would have me watch Patrick Willis and Ray Lewis videos before our games, man.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just
that's
how
where
I
the big
play.
hitter comes from.
Exactly. Because I would get a tackle. He's like, "What are you doing? Run through their chest? You trying to tackle their ankles? What you doing?" So I would definitely say him, man.
A lot of people want to know game day rituals. I want to know what you do the day before the game. Because to me, that's a lot of preparation that goes into it. It's like clockwork on game day. You already know what to do. What happens the day before the game?
So the day before, I'm kind of just very chill. I'm not thinking about too much. Chilling with my teammates. We laughing, having a good time. We got meetings and stuff like that. But I'm honestly just chilling. I don't even want to think about the game too much.
Okay, now moving on. You got one day that you're off. You got an opportunity to snap your fingers. You can go anywhere in the world. You can take 3 people with you.
Okay.
Who's the 3 people going to be, and where you going?
Okay, I would go to Dubai. That's one of the richest cities. I've never been out of the United States.
All right.
I'm bringing my mom, dad, and my best friend Jordan. He in Delaware.
All right. Now, what's that relationship like, you and Jordan? partner that grew up with you?
Yep.
Okay.
We've been together since 12 years old, man, when I first moved to Smyrna, Delaware. And we've been hitting it off ever since, and that's my best friend, man, so for sure.
All right, my last question, man. You can trade places with one person on your team. It could be the coach. It could be anybody, quarterback. Who would be the person that you would trade places with, and why?
Yeah, so I'm trading with Coach White on game day, so I could get about 40 blitzes.
I love that. I love that. That's a good one right there.
Yes, sir.
Fill the stat sheet. All right, Debo Williams, you made it out of the Boom Boom Room, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all time.
All right, one more question before we got to let you go. Obviously, so your coach has been in the Boom Boom Room before.
Yes, he has.
Yep.
Like,
he loves
just
it.
rocked it too, right? He loves it. I think he ended up rapping in the Boom
Yeah,
Boom
he
Room.
did. Yeah, he did. Rap.
I mean, probably not surprising, right? So just kind of fill us in what it's like on a day-to-day basis to play for Coach Beamer.
Yeah. So I was just saying in another interview, it is what you make it. If you come in and you put that work, you'll get the respect of the players, the coaches. It will not be any problems. It's only when they feel like you're not giving all your effort. You're not trying to be 135% out there or trying to be your best self. So, and I've always worked to try to be my best self. And so it's nothing but respect between me and Coach Beamer. Sure.
He's genuine, huh?
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
Great job, Debo. Appreciate you, man.
Thank y'all so much.
Good luck this year.
Yes, sir.
All right, Debo Williams on 3HL. More next on 104.5 The Zone.